Bang! There was a huge sound of meat falling on the ground, which made the ground tremble. Ah! A cry of pain rang out. Haha! Also at this time, around suddenly spread a burst of good laughter. I saw the chubby Wong fat man on the ground, crawling on the ground, with his round stomach on the ground, his fat hands and feet stretching out from front to back, and 2 dishes of soup and vegetables on his head, and 2 people behind him. The whole image of a tortoise. In particular, his appearance of trying to get up and not getting up is very funny. Even Ling Feng, who was just angry, couldn't help laughing. Retribution. Ling Feng laughs and scolds without any taboo. Cloud dance corner of the mouth is also outline, smile like looking at the 3 people group on the ground, but the bottom of the eye flashed the meaning of cold kill. However, Yunwu didn't seem to notice that she didn't say anything. When she just looked at her, there was a flash of interest in her eyes. It's cloud dance. 3 anesthetic needles went into their legs, enough for them to lie on the ground for a while. There's nothing good about this kind of bastard. Let's go. I'll treat you to a drink. Unintentionally, he stood up and patted his clothes lazily. He relaxed and looked down at Yunwu and Lingfeng. When Lingfeng heard this, he could not help grinning. Is it your treat? That's what you said. Don't go back on it. Unintentionally, he didn't say anything about it. He turned around and left towards the outside of the square. However, just then, after Wang Pang, who was trying to get up, he stepped on the back of the fat hand on the ground. The cry of killing a pig suddenly rang out. Cloud Dance sees this. The corner of the mouth stirs up a smile. With the unintentional steps, he just stepped on the back of Wang Pengzi's hand. Ling Feng at this time, if you still can't see that they are intentional, it's a fool. In fact, he didn't have the heart. So deliberately avoid his injured hand. Around the other side, can be very so careless. One foot stepped on the back of Wang's other hand. When I left my foot, I still moved it hard. Straight rub step on a layer of skin, just from the foot. Pain that Wang Fatty screams, rude voice. Ling Fengkai contented quickly Chaoyun dance with no intention to catch up. It's so cool. That fat man Wang deserves it one day. Think of just that foot. Ling Feng after catching up, can't help but creak. Just anger swept away. At this time only a face of cheerful. He patted Yunwu an unintentional shoulder with his hand and said happily, just now, your foot is really good. It's really relaxing. Unintentionally, he turned his head and glanced at him. You're weak enough. 3 years ago, others have been promoted to the 3rd grade, but you're still a 1st grade student. No wonder you're bullied. Cloud Dance smell speech. Willow eyebrow picked. 3 years still a freshman? Just now, Wang Pengzi's strength is only in the late stage of the 7th level, and Ling Feng's strength has reached the early stage of the 7th level, and the difference is not very big. Why can't he be promoted 1 level in 3 years? You are just a freshman. What do you know? Well, don't mention the fat man Wang. Unfortunately, you said to buy us a drink, so let's go. Ling Feng seems reluctant to explain. Inadvertently glanced at him. I didn't intend to say anything. However, unintentionally but looked at the Cloud Dance. That line of sight a little more inexplicable meaning. Yunwu naturally felt the unintentional sight, so he raised his eyes and met his sight. What's the matter? No, I just think you look good. It's my favorite dish. A word that sounds like laziness. But from his eyes, there was no sense of jest. Cloud Dance frowned. I always feel strange in my heart. Who is he? Ling Feng smells speech but puffed to smile. Have no intention. You this advertisement also too shallow point. Of course, unintentionally did not answer him. Finish saying that sentence. Silent again. Go on. It seems that Yunwu hasn't spoken much all the time. See, 2 people are silent. Ling Feng also dull shrug. You 2 are so boring. But no. The 3 finally arrived at the so-called place to have a drink. Seeing that place, Yunwu was drunk. Oh well. The so-called drinking a cup is not drinking, but simply drinking water. However, the funny thing about Yunwu is that even drinking water by the well needs to deduct the points in the token. Deep in the southern Warcraft forest, in a cave. This morning, Lan Yu took out the cold goo fire in the bone marrow for Yunwu. At this time, sitting in the cave, Mo Bai seemed to feel it, and suddenly opened his sharp eyes. How was it discovered? A voice as angry as anger. as if squeezed out of his teeth. During the period when Yunwoo was sleeping in the cave, he couldn't feel her in that position. It wasn't until a few days ago that he suddenly felt something. It's in the direction of Samurai Academy. He hasn't been there because it's Shinwoo Samurai Academy. It's not the right time for him to show up. As long as Ling Guohuo is still in her body, he doesn't have to worry about not finding her position. It's a matter of time before we catch her. Not in a hurry. But now she not only found the cold poison fire that he injected into her bone marrow, but also drew it out. She wanted to get rid of him completely. Damn it. Think you can get rid of me? Then you are too naive. Mobai looked at the entrance of the cave, and a sharp color flashed in his sharp eyes. Since that wellhead drank that so-called cup, Ling Feng took her to the girls' dormitory. After Yunwoo got the number of the dormitory, she went back to her dormitory. In the inner college, the only advantage may be that the dormitories do not need to be crowded with several people, but one room for each person. Night came. Yunwoo didn't wait for Ling Feng to pick her up at the gate of the dormitory, but she went to the gate of the college first. This afternoon, although some of her regional arrays were not clear, her way out of school was almost the same. The entrance to the college is still as silent as it was in the morning. Yunwoo waited at the door for about half a stick of incense, and finally the pharmacist elder came. Girl, I've got what you want. When will you get rid of the curse on me? The old pharmacist in gray clothes is still the same as in the morning, but there are some blue and purple marks on his left eye, like he was punched. What's wrong with your eyes? Yunwoo pointed to his eyes. The old pharmacist smelled the words, but he gave her a bad look. It's not to make a brand for you. You've been in the college for a day. You should know the rules of the college more or less. Do you think all the benefits come in vain? It all comes at a price. Looking at the elder pharmacist rubbing his eyes and not angry, Cloud Dance could not help but slightly raise the corner of his mouth. I really don't know if I didn't enter this college, but after knowing it, she felt that it was wise to reach an agreement with this pharmacist early. As long as she found the map, she didn't plan to stay in the college for a long time. But before that, what she wanted most was to go to the Kangwu Pavilion. If she only depends on herself, it will take a lot of time. Now that she has such a ready-made one, why not? Please, elder pharmacist, but I promise you won't regret this deal. I'm afraid that if you want to solve the curse, you need elder pharmacist to prepare some more things. Smell speech pharmacist elder brow wrinkly. Anything else? It's just some medicine. Aren't you a senior pharmacist? That medicine should be a little fun for you. Cloud Dance light smile way. Well, let's talk about it. I'll get it ready. Yao Lao was also very anxious. When he heard that it was just medicine, he readily agreed. The curse of prohibition, which has been perplexed for hundreds of years, can finally be lifted. How can we not be anxious? At last, Yunwoo told him several kinds of medicine, and the most important one was emerald vine. Emerald vine? After listening to the medicine that Yunwoo said at the end, the voice of the pharmacist elder was obviously raised. Yes, that's the most important medicine. By the way, it also needs a magic core of level 7 Warcraft. I believe that for the internal college, there should be a magic core of level 7 Warcraft in stock. As long as you're ready for this, I'll be able to help you lift the centuries-old ban on you right away. In fact, Ficketing and the 7th level magic core are just the medicine needed by Hyo. Yunwoo's lion's big mouth really has a feeling of blackmail in disguise. However, Cloud Dance is serious. Naturally, we can't let the medicine in front of us always think it's fake. If he can be called the pharmacist elder, he should be the pharmacist of the inner college. Well, he must have a way to get some special medicinal materials. As for the 7th level core, if this college can provide high-grade Warcraft meat as food for foreign colleges, it will definitely have the inventory of level 7 magic core. Anyway, it's all blackmail, so Cloud Dance will say what it needs at one time. However, when I heard what Yunwoo needed, the pharmacist elder's face was almost wrinkled like that of an old man. Girl, do you know what kind of medicinal material is Ficketing? That's the best medicine. As soon as you open your mouth, you need the emerald vine. You really think the old man is a fool? The best medicine? Yunwoo sighed in his heart, But the old man really knew the emerald vine, which means that he must know where the medicine is. Cover up the bottom of my heart that joy. Cloud Dance's dress was serious. He raised his eyes to meet the sight of the pharmacist elder and said seriously, "It's because you know it's the best medicine, and it's hard to find that it will make you ready. If it's such a simple medicine, it can lift the ban curse on you for hundreds of years. Do you think your Ouyang family will suffer from the sin for hundreds of years? Of course, if you don't want to find it, elder, I will continue to keep my promise. I'll get the medicine one day, and then I'll lift the curse for you. Anyway, I just entered the internal college. I'm in no hurry. I have time." When the elder pharmacist heard this, he felt depressed. She has time, but he won't wait. It's not easy to know the way to touch the forbidden mantra. The passion in my heart is up. It's going to disappear again. How can it be? But what she said is not unreasonable. If the ordinary medicine can be relieved, it doesn't have to be banned for hundreds of years. It's just that he can do something about the 7th level magic core. But the emerald vine, however, give me some time and I'll think of a way. But if you dare to cheat me, I'll make you lose it." Hearing what the elder pharmacist said, Yunwu couldn't help but smile and stretch out his hand. "Don't worry, but now can you give me the brand of Kangwu Pavilion first? Because this is a special token, don't just go in, at least. You can wait until the evening, you know it's evening again? It seems that in this inner college as a freshman, she needs to do everything secretly, backstage well. As long as you can go in at night. It doesn't matter. And remember what you promised me. Don't forget my business when you give me a token." Not at ease, the elder pharmacist asked again. Finally, under the repeated guarantee of Yunwu, the elder pharmacist left at ease. When Yunwu returns to the dormitory door, he sees Lingfeng and Wuxian. Two big men are waiting outside the dormitory door. It seems that they have been waiting for a long time. Seeing Yunwu coming from another road, Lingfeng waved to her. "Where have you been? I told you to take you to the challenge zone tonight." Lingfeng frowns at Cloud Dance to say. One side of the unintentional is still that slovenly lazy, however, his eyes looking at the cloud but a little more. "I just came down and didn't see you, so I walked around and didn't go far." Cloud Dance also casually found an excuse. There are 7 or 8 turns in the college, and a freshman can't go far. "Okay, time is almost up. I'll take you to the challenge area. You can remember the way. In the future, I can't wait for you to lead you every day." With that, Lingfeng took the lead and walked towards the fork road on the other side. Cloud Dance see this. Nature also did not say what to follow up. However, Yunwu just took a step, but a hand suddenly caught her arm. "What I told you at noon today is very serious." Inadvertently, that lazy voice very seriously came. "What did you tell her?" "What? So she's good-looking and she's his dish? Is he all right?" Cloud Dance slanted to look at him, but didn't annoy, but slightly pulled the corner of the mouth. "That I also very seriously answer you. I already have a fiancé, so you look for other dishes." Finish saying, Cloud Dance's hand also pushed away his that grasps the hand of her arm. Follow Lingfeng's direction to leave. Fiancé. Looking at the Cloud Dance that left the back, inadvertently that lazy face, finally slightly tight frown. Challenge Zone. It is one of the important places for the existence of the inner college. All the instructors in the college support the students to set up their own challenge arena, gamble, form a party and form a team in the challenge area as long as it's not murder. All the troublemakers will not be investigated. And this is also the college, in order to let students understand that in this martial arts world, as long as you have strength, you are the leading role. The weak can only be pressed under the feet, humiliated. This is why at noon today, when senior students bullied junior students, all the students looked at each other so coldly. No one sympathizes with the weak. So if you want to get rid of that kind of treatment, try to be strong. Some of the junior students who have just entered the inner college can't get into the training tower because they can't accumulate points at the beginning. Therefore, if you want to get rid of the treatment of the weak and be strong, the only way is to come to this challenge area. In the challenge area, as long as you challenge, no matter win or lose, the college system will add a point to the challenger's token. Of course, In addition to accumulating points, we can also get practical experience. Some junior students who have just come here will gradually find out some experience of fighting under repeated defeats. From the beginning, he was defeated all the time, and gradually began to counterattack. The counterattack of the week has also become one of the hottest spots in this challenge area. When Ling Feng and Yunwu came to the challenge area, they were illuminated by torches. People come and go just like coming to a downtown area at night. Roar, curse, shout, almost all the noises are interwoven together. However, when you enter the challenge area, it is an extremely spacious space. Each distance will set up a challenge arena, and the challenge arena will be numbered. For example, a challenge arena at the entrance. Mark, primary challenge, level 1, increase points by 1. At this time there were a lot of onlookers in the challenge arena, and they were competing. This area is a primary challenge area. If you go further inside, you'll cross that boundary and become an intermediate area. If you push forward like this, the innermost area will become an advanced area. Ling Feng, who comes in with Yunwu, points to the one who marks the line to introduce Yunwu. Unintentionally, from outside the door of the dormitory, after Yunwu answered him like that, he frowned and followed them silently all the way. Cloud Dance glanced around and made a visual inspection. There were more than 10 challenge arenas in the preliminary competition area. By the way, Cloud Dance, what's your strength? I'll take you to register first, and then after you get the number, you can start to challenge from the number 1 arena. I tell you, you are still a novice. You don't have to work so hard. When you feel like it's almost the same, you pretend to roll off the challenge arena. Even if you lose, you can accumulate points. Tonight, you can challenge in the number 1 challenge arena and accumulate a few more points. Tomorrow you can add some meat and strength to yourself. Ling Feng walks towards the registration office in the challenge area and shares the experience of earning points with Yunwu. However, Cloud Dance is still silent. Ling Feng seems to be very used to this. She does not answer, does not affect his speech. In fact, I may not know if I haven't contacted Ling Feng. Although Ling Feng is a handsome young man, he sometimes has some impatient and serious faces. In fact, it's absolutely a nag. No wonder at the beginning, that unintentional will dislike his nagging. This contact for a whole morning, almost Cloud Dance didn't say a few words, he has been chattering. However, the more you come into contact with him, the more you will find out that Ling Feng is a good person, even warm-hearted. To put it bluntly, he is a good man. In the inner college, where the good nature of this man has been gradually eroded, he still keeps the good heart, not only helping the freshmen, but also almost taking care of food, drink, housing and transportation. It's too rare. However, as a result, Yunwu also understood why Ling Feng could not be promoted to grade for 3 years. It is estimated that his benevolence is rampant. It is said that every 6 months, the college will hold a competition for students to upgrade their grades. If they lose the competition, the senior will be demoted, and the junior will be disqualified for the next promotion. They can only wait for the next year. In the same way, if the winner in the competition, it is naturally upward promotion. Ling Feng helped the freshmen so much that he might have been detained deliberately to help them in the competition. Of course, this Cloud Dance is just a comprehensive guess of some gossip about Ling Feng when Ling Feng sent her back to her dormitory in the morning. As for the specific situation, she is not clear. But what makes Yunwu curious is why he helped the freshmen so much. Is it really just pure kindness? Sympathy? Or is there a special reason? Came to the registry. At this time the registry also has several people in line. Ling Feng then turned to Cloud Dance and asked, "What's your strength? Wait, we need grades." Cloud Dance pondered for a while, then spoke. 6 steps. 6 steps. Ling Feng smells speech, in the eyes of a flash of doubt, frowned seriously. Wei. You have to tell the truth, otherwise receive the brand. The people in the field will arrange opponents according to your strength. This is not a joke. If you deliberately exaggerate your strength and are arranged to a powerful opponent, you will lose half your life in that game. Not to mention the next one. For Ling Feng's words and expression, how could Yunwu not know what he thought in his heart? 6 levels she is also according to enter this college people, is generally speaking. However, seeing that he didn't quite believe it, Yunwu followed his heart and said, then register the 5th level. 5 steps? Ling Feng's eyes detect Cloud Dance's body. His breath is weak. It's really 5 steps. However, in this college, the 5th level is even a low level. It cannot be further said. Okay, I'll register you for level 5, but remember, when you come on stage, you feel that it's really no good. Just roll down the challenge arena as I told you. Ling Feng said in front of the line of several people have registered to leave, he also on the front. Ling Feng? How come it's you again? This time, who's going to register for you in your class? When you see Ling Feng, it's like seeing an old acquaintance. Come and register for the freshmen in my class. They have the strength at the beginning of the 5th level. When you arrange for her, remember that the arrangement level is similar. Don't be higher. Ling Feng whispered. The registration officer went over Ling Feng and looked at Yunwu not far away. He frowned. How come the freshmen in your class are so weak again? This time, you won't be the one who pastes points for her, will you? Ling Feng took out his token. You don't talk so much nonsense, the old rules. Don't give me too much deduction. And by the way, arrange a few challenges for me. By the way, this time I want to go to the intermediate challenge area, so that I can mix more points. Intermediate challenge zone? Hearing Ling Feng's words, the register's voice obviously improved a lot. Ling Feng, aren't you stupid? Who is in charge of the central challenge area now? You don't know. I heard that you offended the fat man Wang this morning. Now you are still going to the central challenge area. Don't you go to smoke? The registrants looking at Ling Feng, Fundus obviously does not agree. Ling Feng grinned and knocked his fingers on the table. Don't worry about it. As long as you arrange for me to a less obvious position, I'll be quiet. There won't be any problem. See Ling Feng also smile. The registration officer helplessly shook his head, but still did not forget to charge I really can't help you. You can be careful yourself. I'll tell the registration clerk in the central challenge area later, and ask him to arrange the corner position for you as much as possible. Thank you, brother. Ling Feng said thanks. When you get the registration number of Yunwu, Ling Feng turns around and turns back to Yunwu. He handed the brand to Yunwu. This brand is for you to use in this challenge area. Before you leave the inner college, this is your special challenge card. Put it away. When you go to the challenge arena, remember to put your challenge card and college token in the groove. Cloud Dance listened to his words. The bottom of the eyes looked at the hand in front of the brand, dark black. Above the brand is 3-6. Although, in such a noisy environment around, as far as the position she stands is concerned, ordinary people can't hear the conversation between Ling Feng and the registration clerk. Can her strength, but a word does not leak of all hear clearly. 2 more points need to be deducted for registration. Did you paste it for her? Why? For a freshman like her who has just met, and even admits that he is not agreeable to her, he has to help her for a reason, right? But looking at Ling Feng in front of him, from his eyes, she can't see any scheming. Maybe, there is such a kind-hearted fool in this world. Take it. I'll take you to the challenge arena. As long as you remember what I said, if you don't win, you can roll down the challenge arena. Don't be so stupid that you have to let others fight you down. Also didn't wait for Cloud Dance to stretch out a hand to come over. Ling Feng put the token into her hand, continued to charge again. What's more, if you can't afford to eat, you can't wait for 1 or 2 minutes to eat tomorrow. You can't be in a hurry. When you get familiar with this place, I'll take you to a good place to practice. Although it's not as good as the cultivation tower, it's at least a place to practice. Okay, I've finished what I have to say. Take care of yourself. I'll do my work first. Ling Feng finished, waved his hand, and walked into the challenge area of the inner central area. Inadvertently saw Ling Feng, final footstep or follow him after all. However, when passing by Yunwu he said, although he's a nagging man, he's a good man. If you want to earn more points and are interested in gambling, you'd better go to the previous gambling game and make the next bet. Maybe you'll be lucky. Finish saying, have no intention also lazily cross Cloud Dance, followed that Ling Feng to leave. Cloud Dance then can't help but pick eyebrow of eye to see off his back figure. The eye ground flits past a touch of undercurrent. However, He also went in the direction of what he called gambling. No matter who he is, at least, now she has not felt the crisis and hostility. As for the challenge arena, Cloud Dance didn't really plan to fight from the beginning. Even if it was to fight, it would not go to the number 1 challenge arena. According to the accumulation point by point, it would be difficult to eat and drink less, not to mention entering the training tower. However, it seems to be a little interesting to talk about the gamble. The register sweeps Yunwu out of the corner of his eye. It can be seen that Yunwu does not go to the challenge arena. Instead, he runs to the gambling area in the arena and shouts loudly, "Hello, freshman." But there was a lot of noise around, and the shouting was soon drowned. Finally, I could only watch the Cloud Dance enter the gambling area. The registration clerk took back his sight, and immediately frowned and shook his head. It seems that Ling Feng is kind-hearted again this time. As soon as he entered the college, he wanted to go to the gambling area and get something for nothing. It's really worse than one. Tut! He said to himself. In his eyes is that Ling Feng is worthless, with regret and disdain. In the challenge area, gambling is allowed to exist by the college, which is very aboveboard. However, gambling is not money, but accumulated points. In this inner college, all kinds of gold, silver and jewelry are fake and useless. But the accumulated points are different. In the eyes of these gamblers, they are just like the golden gold. In particular, it's cool to see those points, which are gradually adopted into one's own token from another's token. When Yunwu enters the gambling area, what I see are stone tables. There are grooves in both directions on the stone table, and many people are around the stone table, staring at the fight on the elevated challenge arena. It seems that the bloody fight is far more ferocious than the challenge on the challenge arena outside. Although, this is the gambling area of the preliminary competition area. But there are a lot of people. First grade? Little girl, this is not a challenge arena. You are in the wrong place. Cloud Dance just walked in a short while a tall man came by. However, when she saw the badge on her chest, the heat of her eyes disappeared, and a brush of impatience rose. I didn't go wrong. This is where I'm coming. Cloud Dance glanced at the man, then passed him and continued to walk inside. The man wore a badge and was a third grader. Hearing Yunwu's words and seeing her passing him like no gambling on him, her face suddenly sank. He stepped forward, reached out and stopped her, and said in a loud voice, "There are rules in the gambling area. You think anyone can come in? If you want to enter the gambling area, you need the most basic funds. You can't enter the gambling area for 20 points. Are you enough? If it's not enough, get out of here. Otherwise, don't blame me for asking you out in person." 20 minutes? The Cloud Dances to pick eyebrow. The eye ground is cold idea to flash over. Lift the eye of glancing at the man that blocks the way. I remember, I just came in to see. At the door seem to write, as long as there are 10 minutes can enter. You this opening but 20 minutes. Be regarded as deliberately looking for my fault. The third grader heard the speech and immediately grinned, and his eyes flashed fiercely. I'm trying to find fault with you. What's the matter? This is my territory. I'll do whatever I like. I'll give you face if I find fault with you. If I don't like it, I'll throw you out directly. Smell speech, Cloud Dance, I ground cold idea flash. The corner of the mouth outlines actually. Is it? But in my opinion, you are just a watchdog. In a word, the third grader turned black. His eyes were almost flaming and his fists clenched in a moment. Good, very good. No one dares to make trouble in my territory, so I'll give you a chance to try my fist. As soon as the words fell, the man waved his hand and wanted to hold the Cloud Dance. But at that time, the waving hand was empty. When the eyes were fixed, the cloud was clearly in front of us. How could it be empty? There was a flash of doubt in the eyes of the third grader, but then he waved. When he failed again and again, he took a formal look at the Cloud Dance in front of him for the first time, frowning and squinting. You're a freshman. You're good at hiding. Hiding? I will have a lot of things, but unfortunately for a watchdog, I still disdain to hand Cloud Dance lifted mouth to sweep, say very is indifferent. Crazy. This sentence is really crazy. Almost as soon as she said that, She just looked around to see the excitement, which was a bit funny. A girl who seems too weak to speak such crazy words in front of a third grader is not bragging. What else can it be? Freshman, your tone is crazy. In that case, why don't you go on stage and compete with him? That's right. If you dare to brag like that, why don't you go directly to the stage? Now the challenge arena is almost empty. If we want to fight, we can bet on it. Smell speech. Cloud danced that corner of the mouth smile deepened a few minutes, as if waiting for these people to coax. It's okay to go on stage, but since this is the gambling area, it naturally needs some bets. I can't go on stage for nothing, can I? Cloud danced that words, but attracted a burst of laughter of the people present, like looking at the bumpkin. Freshman, I'm afraid it's your first time to come to this gambling area? Otherwise, how can you not know that as long as you challenge on stage, the winner will increase by 30 points, and the loser will increase by 5 points. You will not go on stage in vain. That is, even if I don't know this, I dare to say that I'm on stage. I'm not afraid of death. There was a lot of laughter all around. Yunwoo's mouth turned upward, but it was covered with a sneer. You may not understand. I mean, this game is my gambling with all of you. If I win, I'll draw 20% of the gambling capital of all of you. What? At the beginning, the crowd was mocked and ridiculed. After hearing Yunwoo's words, there was no sound in the whole room. If it wasn't for the sound of fighting in the arena, you would feel the silence that could be heard even if a needle fell to the ground. But after a while, there was a burst of laughter in the whole field. That appearance, as if to hear what joke, one almost did not laugh. Even the angry third grader burst out laughing. You win? Freshman, are you here to be funny? You want to beat me? And bet with everyone? Do you think you have enough capital? What? You dare not gamble? Yunwoo holds her chest in her hands, laughs and looks at them. At last, the people who were laughing just now felt that she was not joking. However, for such a junior student as her, people present didn't pay much attention to her. Dare not. There is no reason why they dare to gamble in the gambling area. What if you lose? You can't. If you lose, let's all gamble for nothing, one of the people spoke. That's right. I haven't said it yet. What if you lose? Cloud dance poor also quite leisurely, hook lip way. That I each compensate you 20% of the gambling fund points. You pay for it. Junior, can you afford it? I guess you don't have 20 points in your token yet. That is, you want to set up the white wolf empty-handed. In the face of this, Yunwoo was not in a hurry. He took out a jade bottle from his body, opened the mouth of the jade bottle, a refreshing fragrance of medicine, immediately filled out. When smelling the fragrance of the medicine, the voices of all the people on the scene stopped. Inside there are 3 Juyuan pills made by 4th-grade pharmacists. I believe that you should also know the efficacy of Juyuan pills. I believe this is enough. This elixir was given to Long when he left the college. At this time, it came in handy. At the end of the cloud dance, the bottle cap was closed again. At this time, all the voices of the people on the scene have stopped, and a pair of eyes are staring at the jade bottle in Yunwoo's hand. It's made by 4th-grade pharmacists. Its value can't be measured by gold, silver and jewelry. Juyuandin. It is said that the person who eats Juyuan pill will improve a lot of the power of uniting Yuanli. In the cultivation, he can also have the ability of uniting Yuanli several times faster. If you can eat a Juyuan pill in the training tower, 1 hour of training in the training tower is equivalent to several days, but it is equivalent to ordinary people practicing outside for several months. Or even more. What does that mean? The hearts of the people present were very clear. At this time, one by one seems to be provoked by a blood of gamblers. Okay, bet. Yes, I bet with you. Put the bottle down and go to the stage. Seeing this scene, Yunwoo raised her eyes and glanced at the 3rd grader who was staring at the bottle in her hand. The corner of her mouth outlined. Let's go to the challenge arena. Let me try your fists. What's your taste? A voice that seemed to smile rather than smile fell. Yunwoo then threw the jade bottle into one of the people's hands. As soon as he turned his toes, he walked towards the challenge arena. That 3rd-grade student. It seems that this is just slow God. Suddenly, eyes flashed a touch of excitement ferocious. Good. Even now he dares to be so crazy. Wait a moment, he will be merciless. After a good training, he will fight from that arena. At this time, the two on the challenge arena just ended. The loser, who was wounded all over, was helped to step down by his companions. When he met Yunwu, the slight sympathy in the man's eyes seemed to see the same end as himself. He opened his mouth and said a word to Yunwu. That Wangchang, but the strength of the 7th level medium term, you take care of it. Mid-7th stage? Yunwu saw it as soon as he met him. However, at this time, Yunwu's challenge card is a newly registered level 5 strength sign. In other people's eyes, it is a grade 1 student with level 5 strength. This kind of strength, dare to challenge with the 3rd grade, no wonder it will attract the laughter of the whole audience. Early in the morning, everyone thought from the bottom of their hearts that Yunwu was the loser. As for the jade bottle containing the elixir, one by one, they have been paying attention to it for a long time. They even think about how to win the elixir from other rivals after the junior student loses. On the ring, Cloud Dance came on stage from the other side, and put the token and challenge card into the groove by the way. And that 3rd grader, Wang Chang, came to the stage from the other side. Similarly, before he came to the stage, he took out his own token and challenge card, and put them into the groove. This is what challengers have to do when they go to the challenge arena. Because in that way when the challenge is over, the system can automatically add points to each token. And in the challenge area, there is no referee, as long as it does not hurt people's lives, let the fight. As for how to judge a winner or loser, it's very simple. As long as the opponent admits defeat or is shot down, that means the end of the challenge and the result. After he came on stage, Wang Chang looked at Yunwu. His eyes were like fierce ridicule. He twisted his hands, like loosening his muscles and bones. Cloud Dance, then stand so quietly looking at him. Junior, use all your skills. I'm going to be serious. When Wang Chang said this, the fighting spirit of the middle stage of the 7th stage suddenly surged out. Cloud Dance, but still no movement. The crowd watching the scene in the challenge arena heard a lot of jeers again. Look, I'm scared. Haha, a junior is so arrogant, and deserves to suffer a little crime. Under the stage, that sneer taunts the sound to have no taboo to ring out. If you change to be an ordinary person, you will feel humiliated. However, Yunwu seems to turn a deaf ear, and quietly looks at Wang Chang. Wang Chang's fists clenched at the moment of fighting, his eyes were fierce, and his eyes were suspicious. See how I punch you? The next second, a drink from the moment. A move at the foot, instantaneous speed, suddenly on the Cloud Dance attack. Do you want to fight? The Cloud Dance is pressing Wang Chang, who is attacking like an iron fist, and the corner of his mouth is painted with a trace of evil spirit. No dodging, no dodging. Just like that, I watched his fist wave down and listened to the jeering cheers under the challenge arena. But just when the fist was about to wave to Yunwu's head, the movement froze, and all the movement seemed to freeze at that moment. Wang Chang, who just had a ferocious expression on his face, was red with blood. His veins leaped on his forehead, and his cold sweat slid down his sides. A sound, listen to the sound of dull hum. And at that moment, the cheers of derision under the stage seemed to gradually begin to calm down. A pair of eyes staring at the challenge arena, as if they were gradually stained with the color of consternation. What's going on? Wang Chang finally took a breath from the pain, and looked at the small fist that hit his abdomen, along with the fist, and looked up at the Cloud Dance with the strange smile arc. What do you think of fists? A very light voice came. Wang Chang is at that moment, I suddenly stare at her. But the next second, a strange and powerful force burst out from the fist. As soon as a scream started, Wang Chang's tall and strong body suddenly flew out. What's going on? All the people watching in the challenge arena didn't see clearly what was going on. When he saw Wang Chang's body, he flew out and fell on the edge of the challenge arena. Seeing this, the people in the challenge arena could not help drinking. Wang Chang, what the hell are you doing? Stand up. Wang Chang, still in the aftershock-like pain, seems to have calmed down. He gritted his teeth and got up from the edge of the challenge arena. But when looking at the Cloud Dance walking slowly towards him, Wang Chang's heart is still gradually alert and stunned. You are not only the 5th level, but also the strength? You lied about your strength? Cloud Dance hook lips, died with the evil spirit of proud cold. Lied? Just now I said in public that my strength is more than that. What stage of strength have you reached? Wang Chang clenched his fist tightly, but in his eyes he looked at Yunwu with great vigilance. Come and see for yourself, Cloud Dance says. Continue to face Wang Chang. Wang Chang looked at the Cloud Dance step by step, but also in full view of the public. Under such circumstances, he must not lose face. One grits his teeth, and the powerful fighting spirit rises again in the middle of the 7th stage. This time, not in any slow body like a fierce leopard attack, a sensitive jump, flying to the clouds. And just as he jumped up, a green light that could be seen with the naked eye gathered in his body. At the moment when he hit the clouds, the green light seemed to turn into a real leopard, and its claws came out in the air. Brush. Sharp cold straight away from the clouds. Martial arts? See this scene of Cloud Dance, Lume a pick, I flash a touch of fun. However, at this moment, Cloud Dance also moved its feet, and the figure in public suddenly passed like a phantom. The cold on fell, the Mars flashed out, and the long mark of 5 claws was left on the ground. The crowd under the challenge arena, however, was dodged from the attack by the Cloud Dancing phantom speed on the challenge arena, and suddenly called out secretly. Wang Chang's heart clapped again. Dodging again? The speed of his condensed martial arts is absolutely as quick as that of a leopard. How could the freshman still escape? That's all you have, isn't it? Well, now it's my turn. When Wang Chang's face was not very good, the cool voice of Cloud Dance came from his ear. What? Wang Chang turned around and just wanted to defend. But that strange and strong little fist had already hit his abdomen. At the moment of scream, his body flew out again. But this time he didn't fall. But Cloud Dance that strange speed, before his body hit fly to the ground, she also first stepped to stand in that position, is a punch to hit him fly out. In the continuous scream of the voice. Ah! In the continuous scream of the voice. From left to right, from right to left, from front to back, from back to front under the challenge arena, the heads of all the people turned around with Wang Chang's flying body. Don't mention how funny the scene was. Until Wang Chang's scream began to hoarse and weak, Cloud Dance finally stopped playing. At the last stroke, it was like kicking a ball, and directly kicked Wang Chang's strong body out of the challenge arena. The people in the challenge arena gave way. Bang! With a loud noise, Wang Chang vomited blood, and his body was curled on the ground for a long time. As for the people in the challenge arena, they are totally stupid. The Cloud Dance in the challenge arena twisted its wrists and patted its clothes leisurely before looking up at the whole audience. How's it going? Anyone else want to bet? If not, let's all be more conscious and take out 20% of each token. A word spread, the silence of the audience. It seems to slow down the god. Lift eyes. A pair of eyes are staring at Cloud Dance. Who are you? You're more than 5 levels for this question. Cloud Dance said it was not interested in answering. Walking down from the challenge arena, after confirming that the token has been injected at the 30 o'clock, Yunwu takes out the token and challenge card from the groove, and looks at all of them in amazement. Do you want me to do it myself? The corner of the mouth still slightly upward, the voice is still so indifferent. But I don't know why, seeing her with such expression, people always feel a chill rising from the bottom of their heart. Just 20%. It's like drawing blood. How can they give up so easily? What's more, they feel cheated. If no one starts, it is impossible for others to take the lead. Looking at the presence of no one moving, Cloud Dance is not urgent. That is, her smile seems to deepen a bit inexplicably. Even if you don't realize it, that's okay. If I'm allowed to do it myself, I'll have to charge a handling fee. As soon as the words of Cloud Dance fall, a strange suction suddenly goes to the front student. In the twinkling of an eye, the token pinned on the student's waist has reached Yunwu. My token. I saw that the student was anxious and wanted to step forward. But Yunwu's hand flick and powerful attack directly made the trainee step back several steps to stabilize his body. But the student's eyes were surprised, and his heart was shocked. What power is that? Did not feel her level, but can let clear sense he is not her opponent. Who is this freshman? Yunwoo didn't move. She threw the token from the student's waist into the groove of one of the stone tables, and her own token into the groove on the other side of the stone table. 20% of the bet, 50% of the handling charge. The total is 70%. I saw that after the words of Yunwoo had been finished, I heard a mechanical sound coming from the sky above the stone platform. A total of 158 points, 20% of the gambling capital, 50% of the handling fee, a total of 111 points, 47 points left. And just after the sound spread, it almost made the trainee unable to breathe and almost dizzy. 50% commission? He worked hard, challenged and gambled. It was only 150 points. Now there are 47 points left? It's not the points, it's his effort. How's it going? I need to do it all by myself, right? That's 60% of the charge. The cool voice of Cloud Dance spread. At present, many people's faces were ugly. In the back, if you dare to step out again, I don't guarantee that you will take all the points in your token as punishment. The door. Several steps are ready to sneak out of the students. The pace immediately stopped. Turning his head, looking at the inside, holding his chest in both hands, and looking at their Cloud Dance coldly, a touch of embarrassment spread on several faces. First grade, don't go too far. Yes, you cheated us by concealing your strength at the beginning. Now you have to deduct 50% of the charge. You clearly want to fight against all of us present. That is, you are a freshman. Why are you proud of us? With the noise of those people at the door, the people present also began to complain. The lowest people who enter this gambling area are sophomores. Every time they bully the first graders, today so many of them are present, but they are bullied by such a first grader. It's humiliating. Since we want to make trouble, we should make it better. If it's too big, we don't need to give the 20% point. This kind of idea gradually formed in the heart of the people present. One by one also immediately put on airs. That's right. You're a great student. Why are you so proud of us senior students? You think you beat that Wang Chang, and you look very proud, don't you? Each one of us has good strength. If we get angry, we'll make you lose it too much. Listening to the people who are ready to protest, Yunwoo's eyes are slightly colder. Yes. So you're not going to give up all your bets, are you? All the people on the scene looked at each other, and immediately they really had a tacit understanding. They all drank together. We won't give it. What can you do with us? To cheat? I didn't expect that such a situation would happen in this inner college. However, no matter they cheat or group, if it's her, she will get back a lot of points. However, the situation at this time also gives her a good opportunity. It gives her a chance to snatch. A strange smile arc in the cloud that pursed tight mouth outlines. Very good. Good. When the people present heard those two words, they suddenly felt some strange in their hearts, as if they had some bad premonitions. But now there are so many people, can she turn the sky? But at the moment when the terrible suction shrouded them from the air, their self-righteous expression just froze on their faces, and their surprised eyes widened. The entire spacious area of 300 or 400 square meters is directly shrouded. What's going on? The students in the whole field felt the shrouded breath, and their stiff faces were gradually surprised. And in the face of surprise, the suction in the air automatically sucked out the token of the people on the spot. Then in turn one by one inlaid into the groove. After all rounds, it's almost half an hour later. Cloud Dance this just contented a brush hand. Immediately threw that a large number of tokens on that side of the stone table. As for the air and that afraid of the suction, but also in that moment to lift. But at the moment of lifting, I saw a very spectacular scene. The students on the scene were all whitewashed and sat down on the ground like their feet were soft. A pair of eyes staring at Yunwoo, like want to draw her blood, eat her meat, peel her skin. However, at this moment, the whole audience, but no action, no voice. Because after just that situation, if the present people are still silly, do not know, in front of this cloud of terror, it is really a fool. Thank you for your generous gift. I'll leave you a meal of steamed bread. Don't give it away. After taking back his token from the groove, Yunwu grinned at the people sitting on the ground. Then, in full view of the public, leisurely left. She in fact is kind-hearted. At least, she did not really buckle all, but also everyone's token, left a point, enough for them to eat a steamed bread tomorrow morning. Watching her back, the fists of the whole audience creaked. However, no one uttered a word until the cloud dance left for a long time. The students on the ground took back their eyes and looked at the pile of tokens. Suddenly want to cry without tears. Everyone at this time is completely angry, but also want to cry without tears. Who knows the origin of that freshman? What kind of pervert is it? Originally, it was said that 20% of the total was good. Now, all of them have only 1 point left. How can they live? However, when the group was about to cry, the female student quickly crossed the cloud dance and ran towards the central challenge area. Freshman? It can't be the cloud dancing willow eyebrows suddenly wrinkled. As soon as they moved, they quickly headed for the intermediate challenge area. In the Educational Administration Building, a tutor rushed up to the 6th floor. 5 elders. Hearing this, the 5 elders in the room looked up at the teacher who was pushing the door and frowned. What's the matter? In such a hurry, not long ago, I found that there was a large section of abnormal data in the students' points. The tutor said quickly. Abnormal? The 5 elders finally put down what they were doing. What's unusual? There are nearly 100 fast 200 student points. All of a sudden were adopted, almost all of them, leaving only 1 point, and all of them were adopted to a freshman's token. According to the above, that freshman, or as soon as possible, registered successfully, called Cloud Dance Freshman. At the same time, the tutor handed the data to the 5 elders. Cloud Dance? After hearing this, the 5 elders raised their eyebrows. However, when he took over the tutor's record data and adoptive position, the 5 elders could not help raising their faces. Junior gambling area? That girl went to the gambling area of challenge area unexpectedly? The tutor looked at the 5 elders' sudden smile, and he couldn't figure it out. 5 elder, how do you deal with this? In fact, what he wanted to ask was whether someone had done something wrong. But the 5 elder waved his hand and said with a smile, don't pay attention to it. If this happens in the future, you just ignore it. Think of, not long ago get the information out of the courtyard. 5 elder can't help but to that girl more have a kind of curiosity. Summoner. That girl is a summoner. The vocation has disappeared for hundreds of years in the mainland of China. Now finally the vocation was born. No wonder he felt a strange smell when he was in the test room this morning. He was puzzled all the time. However, after learning that she was a summoner, he understood something in his heart. Estimate. That wench affirmation already contracted to have contract beast. Just so wench unexpectedly already is summoner. The strength has already surpassed the tutors of the outer courtyard. Even the tutors of the inner courtyard. Does she really want to study when she comes to inner college? Or something else? The 5 elders guessed a lot in their hearts and were also alert. However, since that girl has entered the college, she is a student of the college. No matter what her purpose is, I hope she can remember that if she is a student of the college one day, she will be a student of the college all her life. If there's nothing else, you can go down. The 5 elders all said that. Naturally, the tutor didn't say anything more. Finally, he left with a lot of doubts. In less than half an hour, the points of nearly 200 students have been adopted. This situation has never happened in history. Why did the 5 elders not pay attention to it, but let him ignore it in the future? This is not in line with the temperament of the 5 elders. What's going on? What's the origin of the new student named Yunwu? How could the 5 elders protect each other like this? Intermediate Challenge Zone. At this time, a corner of the arena, almost surrounded by hundreds of people, dense number, almost all of the people behind the line of sight are blocked. When Yunwu arrived, he just saw the register, trying to squeeze into it. Yunwu's figure flashed and followed him directly. The registration clerk, who was trying to squeeze inside, Still doesn't look very well when he accidentally sees the cloud dancing behind him. But he didn't say anything, just pushed forward like that. It's crowded. In this case, it's the worst. When Yunwu saw this, he flipped his hand and pushed a force along the front of the register. In an instant, people on both sides were pushed to both sides by a strange force. All of a sudden, it gave way to the registration officer and Yunwu. The registrant, Xiaozhu, frowned and looked at the cloud dance behind him. However, at this time, I didn't think much, so I quickly followed the way of giving way and ran towards the challenge arena. When Yunwu and Xiaozhu saw clearly the situation in the challenge arena, their faces changed. It seems that the fight in the arena has already entered the last place. Ling Feng held the opponent's waist with both hands, and the man used his elbow to attack Ling Feng's back again and again. Ling Feng, what are you doing? Come down quickly. Xiaozhu almost immediately yelled at Ling Feng, who was wounded and bloody all over the arena. Hearing the voice of Xiaozhu, Ling Feng, who is still holding the opponent in the ring, finally slightly raises his eyes, which are red silk eyes, and looks at Xiaozhu and Yun dance. It seems that I want to open my mouth to say that I'm okay, but as soon as I open my mouth, blood is pouring out from the corner of my mouth. Ling Feng's opponent is not Wang Pengzi, but a man wearing a third-grade badge, a cold man who looks like he is about 25 or 26 years old and full of anger. However, when Yunwu felt the strength of his body, his eyes suddenly became cold. Top 8. He is the strength of the top 8. The third grader at the top of the 8th grade? Absolutely impossible. The only possibility is at that time. The corner of Cloud Dance's eyes swept to the left corner of the challenge arena. The figure was very abrupt, and there was Wang Peng. See, that Wang fat person double eyes Yin son of stare at the Ling breeze on the stage. That chubby face up, but smile incomparably free. It's Fat Wang. 5th grade? Yes, the badge that Fat Wang was wearing on his chest was the badge of the 5th grade. It seems that the man in the challenge arena exchanged his badge with Wang Pengzi. He is Wang Pengzi. Please come to deal with Ling Feng's helper. Think of here. Cloud Dance, that pair of star eyes suddenly dangerous narrow up. A inexplicable anger from the bottom of her heart ting up. Just Ling Feng said to her before, but don't hold on. He thought he would follow the challenge. Can see him now appearance he estimate already couldn't support. Why still dead of hold the opponent not to put. What's more no intention. Didn't he follow Ling Feng? Damn, how could that person's strength be a third grader? Ling Feng, don't be silly. Come down quickly. Xiaozhu looks at Ling Feng's appearance, is very anxious, hurriedly roars loudly. However, Ling Feng did not let go. Bang bang. Once and again, the cold man's elbow fell down, and the bang came from Ling Feng's body. Ling Feng can't help it, and more blood gushes out of his mouth. I don't know why, but he still won't let go. Damn it, Xiaozhu cursed and immediately wanted to rush to the challenge arena. But before climbing the challenge arena, he was opened by the students on one side. You're the registration officer of the challenge area. You want to break the rules of the challenge area. I owe you a little bit of knowledge. Otherwise, just like the weak boy just now, you'll be killed and hung on the display platform. One of the cadets with Xiaozhu on the plane, in a voice, did not hide the threat. When Xiaozhu heard that Yan's face changed, his eyes were full of anger. He wanted to open the student's grip, but his strength was not as good as others. A showcase? The cloud dances to smell speech. The willow eyebrow wrinkles. The vision instantly swept toward all around under the night. When I saw the figure tied on the long pole not far from the challenge arena, the cold light at the bottom of my eyes could not be concealed. No intention. How could he be so tied to that long pole? According to his unique flavor, he should not be a simple person. How could he, however? At this time, Cloud Dance did not have so much thought to guess. Instead, it was in the sight of the surrounding students that they stepped on tiptoe and jumped into the challenge arena. Let him go. 3 words, extremely cold sound. Cloud Dance suddenly appeared, and immediately attracted everyone's attention, including Fat Wang in the corner. See only, that Wang fat person is seeing Cloud Dance, pupil shrank. It's her. This morning, she also stepped on the girl with his foot. Good. Before he went to see her, she sent her to the door by herself. On the challenge arena, the book hit the cold man of Ling Feng with one elbow. Hearing the sound, he finally stopped his mechanical action and looked up at Yunwu. He's my task. If he doesn't give up, he can't let go. A cold man has a cold voice. It seems that he is stating a truth that he thinks is right. Mission? Smell speech, Cloud Dance narrowed eyes. From his eyes, she saw a look too familiar. Just like when she was still in the killer organization, she had to try her best to finish the task before she finished it. But now if it continues like that, it is estimated that Ling Feng's life will be lost in this arena. By Qingshui, teach her a lesson by the way, then I'll give you double points. At this time, Wang Pengzi's coarse voice came from the challenge arena. See only, under that Wang fat man that shout away voice, that is by whiter clear water of cold man, the IICs to Cloud Dance. Mission I take it. Cold voice, no feelings in general sounded. And at that moment by Qing's sailor of force, directly will Ling Feng to throw out. The body shape is extremely fast to the Cloud Dance attack in the past. Yunwu's eyes have been cold for a long time. For the first time, in addition to the things about himself and the dragon, Yunwu felt angry for the first time. And Cloud Dance angry, the consequences are very serious. Almost at the moment of the white water attack, Yunwu didn't hide, a strong breath suddenly vacated. At this time, she did not wait for the other side to attack as before. But at the moment when the white water attacked, her figure had stepped forward abruptly, and her fist contained the strong force. She faced the cold face of the white water straight away. White water a body back to avoid, boxing wind-blowing face, but that cold face, finally appeared a trace of surprise. How fast? But the next second, another punch hit him in the stomach. White water body suddenly flew out of more than 10 meters, made a dull sound, almost fell off the challenge arena. This scene immediately let all onlookers on the scene are surprised to see stupefied, including the fat Wang. What's the matter? What's going on? That's a 5th grader. His strength has reached the peak of the 8th grade. Wang Pengzi is out of the blood. Just invite him to do it. But how could this freshman who suddenly came out of the room put him down with a punch? Also a punch to hit fly out? Is it that they are blinded? White water climbed up from the ground, looking at the eyes of Cloud Dance, finally no longer just cold. There is a trace of surprised doubt. Is she stronger than him? A freshman who seems to be only a teenager. Even stronger than him? This idea, let by Qingshui himself some can't believe. So after he stood up, he turned his hand, a cold light flashed by, and a sharp long sword immediately nestled in his hand. Ling Feng, who was thrown out of the challenge arena, almost had no strength to get up. However, when he saw this, he still tore his teeth and said to the cloud, "He is still an assassin, don't try to be brave and go down." Say a word, as if have to gasp for several breath, can say complete like, "Assassin?" As soon as I felt the too cold breath on him, Yunwu felt it. But she Cloud Dance this life most have no scruple of, that is assassin. The Cloud dances the corner of the mouth to outline, and didn't respond to Ling Feng's words, but the same cold eyes, staring at the man called by Qingshui. Hand over, a fierce cold. The roar of the sword rose in the air in an instant. At that moment, everyone's eyes were shocked. Yunwu already held a majestic sword in his hand. I can see that the old totem on the sword is extremely domineering and dignified. It's strange to match with Cloud Dance's petite posture. But what can't be ignored is that even if the image is strange, the cold and fierce breath of Yunwu and the gas field of the big knife are enough to shock the audience. Good cool feeling. Guwu broadsword. Originally, there was no need to use a butcher's knife to kill chickens. But she was angry. She wanted everyone present to know how serious the consequences of angering her were. The white water, when she felt the breath of Yunwu and the big knife in her hand, was obviously stunned. She is also an assassin. But an assassin with a big knife? This is definitely the first time I've seen this combination. However, this is also the first time, not because of the reward but can attract his interest. Brush. Sword out of the blue. By Qingshui's strange figure moved very quickly, and the sword in his hand showed no mercy. As soon as the assassin put out his sword, he went towards the fatal point. This belongs to assassins, the most basic. Therefore, the general powerful assassin does not have the sword. A sword will see the blood to receive. However, Yunwu didn't raise his sword or dodge. Instead, he just moved his foot and met the sword from Biking Shui. Cloud dance. Ling Feng saw, exhausted all one's strength to seem too startled to shout. Even if the students around the challenge arena can't help shouting. That freshman, just now full of domineering, how could he find himself dead in the next second? Even the unintentional, who was hung on the long pole, saw this scene and his pupil shrank. Cloud dance. A low murmur. However, Wang Pengzi's eyes brightened when he saw this. The hands wrapped around the white cloth were so emotional that they couldn't help clenching their fists. They suddenly yelled, "Okay, just kill her like that." Under Wang Peng's cry, Bai Qing's long sword pierced Yunwu's body. The onlookers under the challenge arena saw that there was a sudden cry of surprise. "Are you going to die?" Even Xiao Zhu's face changed and his eyes widened. However, all the people just looked at Bai Qingshui's long sword stabbing into Yunwu's body, but they didn't notice the stiff expression on Bai Qingshui's cold face and the absolute astonished eyes. "Haha, it's good to stab her. I'd better stab her to death. Then I'll give you some more points." When Wang Pengzi saw this, he began to laugh excitedly. "Yes. You want me dead? Good." Just as Wang chuckled, the cold voice suddenly came. "What?" Wang Pengzi's laughter suddenly got stuck, and he suddenly looked at it. When he saw the figure from the void, the color of horror suddenly hit his eyes. But without waiting for his exclamation, his huge fat body had been directly lifted up and thrown onto the challenge arena. Bang! A heavy object fell to the ground. Suck! The sound of pouring gas spread in the whole crowd in an instant. Two cloud dances. In the eyes of the onlookers, the cloud dance pierced by the white clear water under the sword was distorted, and in an instant, it turned into a shadow and disappeared. Shadow? How is that possible? They clearly saw with their own eyes that her body was actually pierced. However, when they couldn't believe it, they saw that the white water, who was still holding the sword, turned pale and knelt on one knee with a clatter. Beads of blood, oozing from his neck. But the wound did not go deep, but the strength was very good. He could only hurt his skin and flesh at a very fast speed to cut the artery. This kind of assassin's skill, even he can't do so well. I lost. After 28 years of hard training, he failed in the hands of a teenage girl, without even using a single move. How is that possible? Yes, he didn't believe it himself. However, the slight tingling on the neck and the bloody smell from the tip of the nose were always there. And he reminded him. He lost. He lost completely. Lose, however, on the other side of the challenge arena, Wang Pengzi got up from the challenge arena with a pain, and his face was very wonderful. Suddenly dark and bright. Like anger and fear. The girl standing in front of him with a big knife, cold eyes glancing at him. "What do you want? I tell you, you have violated the rules and regulations. In my territory, do you believe I can let people catch you and throw you out?" Looking at the cloud dance, Wang Pengzi endured the inexplicable shock in his heart, and tried hard to stand the bucket waste, with a strong gas field of fat meat on his face. In full view of the public, it seems to want to live cloud dance. Do not let yourself too ugly. The central challenge area is now under his care. If it is smashed in front of the public, what face will he have to face here? However, some people are just like that and never know their own position. See only that Wang fat man says to finish, very ruthlessly at that challenge arena of younger brother, make a wink. All of a sudden, I saw more than a dozen students wearing third-grade badges rushing up from front to back under the challenge arena, one by one holding long swords, watching Cloud dance warily. His territory? Seeing this scene, the smile on Yunwu's face outlined, but the smile was so cold that it could freeze. What is aura? Just look at the girl in front of you. The silent and cold atmosphere almost filled the whole scene in an instant, and everyone shivered inexplicably. It's cold. It seems that you need to rub your arms so that you can rub the cold goosebumps down. Who are the freshmen? How come I've never heard of such a number one before? Is it illegal? How do I hear that there are no rules to talk about in the challenge area? As long as someone is strong enough, he can make the decision anyway. You say, if I cut your fat into pieces, will this territory be mine? Cloud Dance squints at that pair of star pupil, stares at that Wang fat man to say. The smile that the corner of the mouth rises suddenly dyed a trace of inexplicable strange blood. What? As soon as Wang Pengzi heard Yunwu's words, his face suddenly changed, almost in an instant. Staring at Yunwu's eyes, his canthus were about to crack. You are a freshman. You are so arrogant. I'll make you regret saying that. The moment Wang Pengzi's words fell, the fighting spirit in the middle of the 7th stage suddenly started. Cheers also set off at that moment. All give me together, mercilessly close to death her. More than a dozen little brother students, also in an instant, brush up their own fighting spirit. More than a dozen different breath. At the same time, Chaoyun dance oppressed. Then, more than a dozen people started to brush with long swords, and the cold light passed by without any hesitation. More than a dozen 3rd graders against a 1st grader. It can be said that this scene has never appeared. Although all the students were surprised by the situation just now, they could see the scene at this time. But each of them had a passion of watching. The cry of surprise rose with the attack. But the cry of blood just started, and it was not a few seconds, but a strange sound of pouring gas spread away. A blue light suddenly flashed across the challenge arena. In addition to Bai Qingshui, Ling Feng and Wang Pengzi, more than a dozen students suddenly hit a thin layer of ice and formed an iceman. This scene directly scared Fat Wang. Frozen to ice? What's going on? However, Wang Pengzi, who watched this scene with his own eyes, trembled his whole chubby body. You. My voice trembled with tongue under the flash of blue light. The chilling feeling rushed to the face. The temperature in the air, that is to say, drops rapidly at that time. But it's all just the beginning. I saw that when the people came from the chill, more than a dozen roads in the challenge arena, the frozen bodies of the students were suddenly thrown out one by one like a ball. The boundary between the primary challenge area and the intermediate challenge area. Bang bang. One by one, the figures were thrown out of the air. As soon as the figures of the trainees fell to the ground, their frozen bodies suddenly thawed. However, they all shivered with cold. Their lips were white, their faces were purple, and their mouths were white. Cold. Those people seemed to have just come out of the ice and snow of more than 10 degrees below zero. Such a scene not only shocked the spectators in the intermediate challenge area, but also the people in the primary challenge area were shocked by these people who suddenly fell from the air. What's the matter? These are all 3rd graders. How did they fall out of the air? Many students in the primary challenge area, seeing this situation, began to rush to the intermediate challenge area. And now, the ice on the challenge arena has disappeared, but the chill in the whole air is still very strong. It was so cold that all the students around the challenge arena were clucking with their teeth trembling, but none of them left, or even their eyes moved away from the girl on the challenge arena. They didn't know what the blue light was doing. I just feel that it is a kind of strange power which is very similar to water property, but not very similar. However, they seemed to know that the girl's weird. Wang Pengzi widened his eyes and stepped back step by step. The horror in his eyes was beyond doubt at this moment. You are? However, Wang Pengzi's words had not finished, and a cold light had already flashed by. At that moment a shrill scream sounded in the air. I saw that on Wang Peng's fleshy arm, the one with meat and clothes was cut off directly. Blood, along the blade of the broadsword, dripped down the ground slippery. No one can see how Chu Yunwu moves. Anyway, when everyone hears Wang Pengzi's scream, the sword in Yunwu's hand has been taken back and put on his side. Wang Pengzi's face turned white, and he covered the blood flow of a large piece of meat. His arm was shaking. Looking at the cloud dance walking slowly, he finally asked for mercy with a trill. You don't kill me. This is a college. I don't kill people. In Wang Fatty stepped back, Cloud Dance stepped closer, Hook Lip smile back. As soon as Wang Pengzi saw her smile, he felt more and more scared. Then, what do you want to do to me? I admit defeat. I admit defeat. Is that okay? Give up. Cloud Dance pick eyebrow, but slowly close to the pace did not stop. In my eyes never regard you as an opponent. How can you admit defeat? never regarded him as an opponent? For a warrior, is that a word of shame? And that sentence also made Wang Pengzi's face pale and ugly. However, at this time he was no longer angry, because at this time, he realized that he was not her opponent in terms of strength or martial arts. It's just, what does she mean by being so reluctant now? What do you want? Wang Pengzi retreated, but she approached like that. This makes the inexplicable fear in Wang Peng's heart seem to deepen more and more. Cloud danced looking at that pale, suddenly dark, suddenly bright complexion of Wang Peng. The fundus of the eye floated a bloodthirsty sneer. I said that since this challenge area is dominated by those who have the ability, I will replace it. So before that, in order to better deter all the students present, I said to do what I said, cut the meat of your former manager one by one. Words of fall, did not wait for anyone to respond to come over. A cold light in front of everyone's passing. Brush. The roar of the sword, accompanied by the sad cry of the fat man Wang, completely shocked all the onlookers, including the white water. I saw his cold eyes, also flashed a surprised light, body shock. The smell of blood will soon spread in the challenge arena. Under the twinkling of cold light, pieces of bloody meat gradually appeared in the open space of the challenge arena. When the cry stopped, the knife, which was so fast that people could only see the cold light, finally stopped. Suck. Poor gas sound, instantly in the whole intermediate challenge area rings. A road incomparably startled eyes straight looking at the challenge arena. Fat man? No, at this time, the fat man couldn't see the chubby feeling. At this time, the whole person, except the head, had no good skin. The whole person is bloody. On the ground of the challenge arena, there are lots of bloody meat slices cut from the fat man Wang. They are bloody and disgusting. Seeing this, everyone present seemed to feel that their stomach was writhing inexplicably. A kind of nausea goes down the throat. Good cruel. What a terrible girl. At this time, everyone was shocked. Everyone, even the unintentional one tied to the long pole, was shocked to see here. However, his shock is different from those below who feel terrible, but feel blood. A kind of blood that seems to rise from the bottom of his heart makes his whole body in the stagnant cells, and instantly begins to breathe fiercely and rapidly. Originally beaten weak breath is also surrounded by the smell of blood, as if some changes began to take place. Cluck. The bones in the body creak, like what's evolving. However, his eyes were locked on the cloud dance in the challenge arena, and the heat rose from the bottom of his eyes. Of course. At this time, Yunwu naturally didn't know what happened there. At this time, she just let out her anger. Sliced meat is cut, but I think you don't have much appetite for raw meat. Cloud Dance looks at the students with disgusting faces under the challenge arena. At the moment when the corner of her mouth was raised, the palm of her hand turned up, and a flame suddenly jumped from her palm. The original cold temperature suddenly soared again. Fire flame? Solid flame? Around the ugly face of the onlookers, many suddenly stare big eyes. However, Cloud Dance is in a hand. In a moment will be in the hands of the flame toward the ground those meet and go. When it was hot, the flame disappeared. The smell of blood in the air was replaced by a smell of barbecue. Just bloody meat, at this time is golden ripe. These, as I Cloud Dance to take over this intermediate challenge area. To give you a gift, how much you want to eat, you come up to take. The voice of Cloud Dance is extremely dignified and cold. It spreads around like a megaphone. However, as soon as she said that, she heard a lot of vomit around. To this, Cloud Dance that corner of the mouth sneer more deeply a few minutes. She is not really cruel. Instead, most of the people in this college seem to have been wiped out of their human nature. In this case, she will give them a good baptism. Let them see what is the real cruelty. Very good. It seems that everyone has no opinion. After that, I will be in charge of the intermediate competition area. If anyone has any opinion, come to me. Now it's okay, it's all over. The voice of Cloud Dance is full of hegemony and dignity. I saw in her words, surrounded by the students around, whether it is pale, shocked, stunned as if there were not half of them who dared to resist, they immediately scattered around. At this time, Yunwu slightly turned his head and looked at Wang Peng, who was lying on the ground and seemed to be in a coma, but not yet in a coma. Blood is still flowing from his wounds. However, That kind of injury won't kill him for the time being, but if the blood flow goes on like this, I don't know. After Cloud Dance glanced at him, she didn't care about him for the moment. Instead, he turned around and walked towards Ling Feng, who fell on the edge of the challenge arena, and was also injured. Ling Feng saw everything that happened in the challenge arena just now. Looking at the coming Cloud Dance, his mood at this time is extremely complex. Originally, he thought that she was weak, just a freshman who entered the inner college relying on the backstage. Therefore, he always thought that he was helping her for her good. But in fact, her strength does not need his kindness at all. Cloud Dance see Ling Feng that look in the eyes. How many guess what he thought in the heart? But she didn't say much. Because sometimes, if you say something and explain it too much, it will make the other party feel that it is a kind of charity and pressure. But in front of him, Yunwu didn't say anything, so he stretched out his hand. Ling Feng raised his eyes, looked at the Cloud Dance standing in front of him without bending his waist, looked at her familiar and indifferent eyes, looked at her outstretched hand. Originally, the inferiority complex in my heart gradually faded away, because he understood what she meant from her behavior. She was telling him, she is still her. Although in other people's eyes, it may be funny, but he really felt it. Ling Feng is not a person who wants to lose face and has a strong sense of inferiority. Otherwise, he will not teach Yunwu that if he can't fight, he will go down the challenge arena and mix points. See Cloud Dance so understand him, he naturally also stretched out his hand, grabbed her hand. However, Ling Feng thought that Yunwu wanted to pull him up. However, when he grasped her hand, his body was shocked. Then, eyes suddenly rose a touch of surprised color, straight staring at the cloud. What's going on? How did he feel that when he met her hand, he was tearing the painful wound and began to feel crisp and fast healing? I don't think so. The situation was too frightening. Did he hallucinate? However, when Ling Feng watched with his own eyes, the broken wound on his wrist was healing with naked eye speed under a layer of light blue light, and his body was shocked again. Is the wound really healing? Cloud Dance. Ling Feng keeps just posture, but can't help looking up at the Cloud Dance, but never think, just meet her that pair of tiny flashing purple pupil eyes. In Lung after a return to God. Ling Feng feels a little unnatural. For the first time, such a close look seriously staring at a woman. For the first time, he felt that his heart was not willing to be calm. How could that be? Is there magic in her? Trauma should be no problem. As for internal injury, also need to recuperate a few days. Feel almost. Cloud Dance also converged the water element in the body, toward that Ling Feng said a water element has the effect of healing trauma. This is what Bai Lao said when she broke through the martial arts sage a few days ago. Today, it's her first time to use it. It looks good. After Yunwu finished, he didn't pay more attention to Ling Feng. After converging the water element, he pulled him from the ground and stood up, then took back his hand. Turning his head, he looked at the white water not far behind him, who was still half kneeling on the ground. It's my territory after here. No one is allowed to take over the task and smash the site on my territory. The voice of Cloud Dance is very cold. The look in Bai Qingshui's eyes has returned to coldness. However, there is a different color in the sight of Cloud Dance, as if it's like that worship. Mission failure. From now on I will seal the sword. Seal the sword? Hearing his words, the Cloud Dances and the willow eyebrows pick. It seems that there is something unexpected. An assassin said that he wanted to seal the sword, but it took a lot of determination. However, the white water at this time, and added, I want to worship you as a teacher. She's a teacher? Cloud Dance just raised eyebrows, slightly frowned for a while. The fundus of the eye flashed an indescribable deep streamer. However, after glancing at him, he raised the corner of his mouth. Do you want me to be your teacher? You, a senior in grade 5, want to worship my freshman as a teacher? Do you think that's funny? Whitewater is still cold face, eyes but very serious looking at Cloud Dance, but said a very crazy words. In the past 28 years, you are the only one who let me fail without even using one move. In this life, you are the only one who can be qualified to be my master. Smell speech, Cloud Dance, corner of mouth smile arc deepened a few minutes. But he gave a cold voice. Yes, but it's a pity that I'm not interested in being an apprentice if I can't even catch a move. This words, not surprisingly, Whitewater face slightly changed. But soon, he raised his head coldly and looked at the cloud dance with a trace of perseverance. Is that so long as I can catch you, you can accept me as an apprentice? Cloud dance smell speech, but just outlined the corner of the mouth sneer, looked at him, did not answer. Seeing this, Bai Qingshui stood up from the ground. I'll come to you in 3 days and I'll take your move. With that, Bai Qingshui turned around and left the arena neatly, looking at the back of the white water. The smile in the eyes seems to deepen a bit, inexplicably swept through the depths of the eyes. Ling Feng has been looking at the changes on her face since she was relieved. His eyes were naturally attracted by her unfathomable smile, but he didn't quite understand it. Let's go back to the dormitory and have a good rest. Take back the line of sight. Cloud Dance turned to see an eye, Ling Feng said. However, before he left, Yunwu came to the fat man after all. The water element cured his injury and stopped the bleeding. Of course, Cloud Dance has no good intentions. It's limited. This wound, also just give him surface healing, stop the blood. At least, it takes a month or 2 in bed. However, Cloud Dance has also done a great good thing. That is, originally a fat man, he lost a lot of meat, which is definitely more effective than liposuction in modern medicine. You the summoner? On the way back to the dormitory, he was helped by Xiao Zhu. He suddenly looked at Yunwu for no reason, and said something. Cloud Dance hears speech, for also did not conceal. Well, she had just used the fire element of death, and she expected to be discovered. However, it seems that it's not too bad to find out. Anyway, the story about her in the gambling area and challenge arena will be spread sooner or later. Summoner. Ling Feng and Xiao Zhu are stunned when they hear about it. She's a summoner? Is she really a summoner? Just after the healing of water element. This possibility flashed through Ling Feng's heart, but it was totally different from what he really heard. I feel that she is better than him. But Xiao Zhu was even more shocked in his heart. Staring at Yunwu, he gradually raised the incomparable respect for the strong. Just now what happened to you? Knowing that he is invincible, how can he still pester that white water like that? Cloud Dance think of before of doubt, saw I Ling wind of Aste. Ling Feng hears speech, but flashed a touch of sadness in the eyes, however, cover up very quickly. Grinning, nothing. I just don't want to lose. However, one side of the small Zhu but cut in a sentence. Can let you so not lifelike, it must be that Wang Peng took that thing to excite you again. I say you silly all so long thing. You still so spell do what? Xiao Zhu's words made Ling Feng's face slightly changed, and his eyebrows suddenly wrinkled. Zhu, you don't talk. No one thinks you are dumb. When Yunwu heard this, he naturally asked, what's the matter? At this time, Xiao Zhu ignored Ling Feng's obstruction and said, 3 years ago, when the promotion contest was held, because of a false accusation, Ling Feng couldn't get promoted for 3 years. Framed? What frame up? Cloud Dance can't help looking at Ling Feng. Ling Feng frowns tightly, but he doesn't plan to open his mouth. One side of the small Zhu can't see past, direct way. I and Ling Feng of the same year into the students. That game I happen to be also present. I am the most clear. Little Zhu. Ling Feng yelled angrily. Little Zhu Dun also felt a little angry. Ling Feng, when do you want to escape? Since you don't say it, I'll say it for you. As for what you like in the future, I don't care about you. After Xiao Zhu finished, he turned to Yunwu immediately. 3 years ago, the competition was divided into 3 groups. At that time, Ling Feng, Wang Pengzi, Wang Xian, the monitor of the freshman middle school, and Xiaoyu, a female student, were in one group. I was divided into another group at that time. Because of some accidents during the competition, Ling Feng's team and I were all scattered. Ling Feng and I just met each other, and it was just one day go to the same place. When you find Wang Pengzi, Wang Xian and Xiaoyu is dead under the claws of Warcraft. Although Wang Pengzi and Wang Xian are injured, they are afraid of death. However, when they return to the college, The two brothers insisted that it was Ling Feng who abandoned his teammates that led to Xia Yu's death. At that time, Ling Feng just didn't get hurt at all. No matter how we explained it, the tutors decided that it was Ling Feng who abandoned his teammates that led to Xia Yu's death. As a result, he was disqualified for any promotion. At this point, Xiaozhu was angry. That fat man Wang and his brother Wang Xian are despicable people. In the past 3 years, once they repent, they don't leave. Instead, they bully and insult Ling Feng in disguise every time. Wang Xian? Hearing the bullying words of Xiaozhu, Yunwu's eyes were cold. She has never had any friends, and few people can be regarded as friends by her. However, once a friend is identified by her, she will never allow anyone to humiliate her friend, anyone. How long is the promotion contest this year? Cloud Dance slants ahead. Looking at that small Zhu inexplicably asked a sentence. Just now, Xiaozhu, who was still in anger, began to react immediately after he was stunned. About 3 months. 3 months. Time it seems a little longer. However, Yunwu pondered for a while, then slightly raised his eyes, looked at the dark night sky. It turned out that he was framed, so there is no need to shrink, continue to straighten up, do anything you want to do, and wait for 3 months. Where he fell, he would get up. What? Cloud danced that words. Let small Zhu follow Ling Feng all along. However, Yunwu didn't say anything more. He turned to Xiaozhu and asked, do you know where the Kangwu Pavilion is? Zongwu Pavilion? Xiaozhu frowned and looked at the cloud dance. The Kangwu Pavilion needs the consent of the tutor and the token to enter the Kangwu Pavilion. What do you want to do? However, unintentionally, he pointed to a certain direction at this time. Go through this road, turn left and enter the back of the forest. Cloud Dance saw an eye not intentional, the corner of the mouth slightly yawned. Thank you. By the way, you don't have to go to the morning class tomorrow morning. Wait for me at the door of the dormitory. Finish saying, Cloud Dance also wait for them how to reply. Turn round and neatly toward the direction of unintentional point to leave. After watching Cloud Dance leave all the time, the 3 men took back their sight. Do you think she really went to the Kangwu Pavilion? Xiaozhu murmured. Unintentionally did not answer, but did not let Zhu help, lazy like loose bones, completely did not just weak. You. Xiaozhu was surprised to see that unintentional. According to unintentional words, after Yunwu passed through the woods, he saw a stone gate between the cliffs. There is a groove in the stone door. Cloud Dance also took out. Tonight that pharmacist elder gave her that token put in. After a while, the stone door opened automatically. Just as the stone door opened, the dark room lit up, as if it were an automatic mechanism. Yunwu takes back the token and goes in. As soon as you walk through the door, the stone gate will merge automatically. Inside is a very spacious space, and the spacious space around is that row of bookshelves, above is full of the same color of books. After Yunwu went in and swept around, he took out a book from the shelf. Level 3 Wind Fist. Cloud Dance muttered out the font on the book. It seems that these books are really martial arts. Look around. There are so many books. I just didn't expect that there were so many martial arts skills in the Tibetan Martial Arts Pavilion. However, Yunwu glanced at the title of the book and put back the books in his hand. Instead of looking through them one by one, he walked slowly along the bookshelf. I found that this Kangwu Pavilion is like a deep hole, and I can't see the bottom all the time. Until Cloud Dance probably all walked half a pillar fragrant time, just saw a small door. After walking to the small door and seeing the groove above, Yunwu took out the token and put it in. Limited, unable to open. Overhead a mechanical sound came. Heard, Cloud Dance forehead black line straight down. The dead old man thought that what was the special token he gave her. It turned out that there was a restriction. It's estimated that what she put out here are all ordinary martial arts skills, and what she wants to see is naturally not these. But if the doorknob doesn't open, she can't smash the door, can she? It seems that tomorrow we'd better go to the dead old man and ask about the situation. Cloud Dance thinks. Also turn around to prepare to see if there is suitable Ling Feng them. However, as soon as she turned around, there was the sound of the stone door opening behind her. Turn around and see the stone door open. What's going on? However, the cloud dance didn't have any hesitation. As soon as his body flashed, he immediately flashed in. However, when you see that the inside is still as spacious as the outside, surrounded by rows of books, Yunwu frowns. She originally thought that this small door should be a secret room or something, hiding high-level martial arts skills. But look at the current situation. How can books still be full of high-level martial arts skills? I thought it was you. Just as the clouds were frowning and meditating, a voice came from not far away. Pidia Huan. Cloud Dance turned to see the feet floating in the corner. Is looking down at the Book of Youth. Can't help but Lu Mei suddenly picked up. Why are you here? Liena Huan raised his head from the book, glanced at the clouds, and said in a bright voice, I'm the administrator here. Where else can I be if I'm not here? Administrator? The cloud dances the eye-ground brush however a bright, however, also cover up of very good. You don't have to go back to bed this evening? Liena Huan continued to look down at her hand and said casually, I can't sleep at night. I have to wait for the day. Now I'm on duty. Is he on duty? However, at this time, Yunwu came forward, looked down at the book in his hand and said, Pidia Huan, you are the administrator here. Do you know what books are there? I know. What about advanced martial arts books? I know. Can you show me that? No. When Liena Huan answered, he closed the book in his hand and looked up at her. Although I'm not as cunning as you human beings, don't treat me as a fool. Presumably, this morning cloud dance that deceived him, he thought about later, some want to understand. His words, let cloud dance for a moment long. However, the next second, the corner of his mouth raised and looked at him with a smile. You know I'm a summoner, and dare to admit that you are not human in front of me? Pidia Huan that pair of clean eyes, quietly looking at her. After a long time he said, What if you are a summoner? No one can hurt me here. Moreover, although I am not a human, I am not a warcraft. Summoner contract warcraft, this is the law of the world. Yunwu shrugged. I didn't say I would hurt you. And who do you hear that I can only contract with warcraft? When he said that, cloud dance hands move, blue light and green light flash in the air. In a cold blue light, Lan Yu's figure appears, and under a blade-like wind, Bai Shuer, who is like a rabbit, also appears. Of course, let Lan Yu and Bai Shuer out. Naturally, let Xiao Chou and Hongling out to breathe fresh air. However, as soon as the stinky guy from Hongling came out, he was so excited that he ran around with little Stinky and played together. Cloud Dance is also lazy to pay attention to, but look at that Pidia Huan. How? How are you feeling? This words, let Pidia Huan see you brow. However, there was a flash of surprise in his eyes. One is a half ghost, the other is ice soul body. How can you contract something that is not Warcraft? Cloud Dance looked at him and grinned. It happens to be a little special. It seems that there is no restriction on the contract. In fact, she was very curious about what he was. Actually, one I can see through Lan Yu and Bai Shuer's Numenon. Pidia Huan smells speech. The facial expression is not very good. That pure eye ground deep place finally some rose a silk of vigilance. But don't worry, most of my contract animals are willing. Cloud Dance looking at him that vigilance. Can't help reaching out to clap his shoulder of say. However, when she patted him on the shoulder, her eyes suddenly passed a bit of surprise. What a powerful aura. What's going on? When I touched his hand before, I didn't feel any aura. How could I pat him on the shoulder tonight with such a strong aura? Pidia Huan didn't like her touch, frowning and patting her hand. As soon as he moved, he floated up to the sky and sat up in the corner. Don't tell a lie. As long as there are spiritual things with self-consciousness, who is willing to become a slave or a contract beast of human beings? Even if you don't believe it, I didn't ask you to believe it. Cloud Dance said. But then she continued. But I can see something about you from you. What about him? Pidia Huan looked at Cloud Dance, pure eyes and some sink down. What's the matter with me? I found out that I saw you twice. Twice you like to lean against the wall and float. You sleep during the day and work at night. Aren't you a half-disabled spirit? Smell speech, pity, the corner of the world mouth a draw. You're a half-crippled spirit. Isn't it? Then why can't you step down on the ground? Cloud Dance lifted mouth to look at him to ask a sentence. In fact, this morning, she noticed that when she added earth elements to his body and made him down to earth, she noticed his unnatural rigid feet. It can be seen from that he has never been down to earth. Can you take care of me and my business? I like floating. Okay, your token can't come in here. You can go out. Pity Juan can't bear to get up. A hand immediately opened the side of the small stone gate, signaled to drive people. I thought we were half friends after I told you all the secrets this morning. Cloud Dance said this time. A yellow light is quietly shrouded in the air. Pity Juan away. Pity Juan reaction come over. At this time, face a sink cold. But at that time, the body suddenly gravity pressure, this floating in the air body, suddenly fell to the ground. Rush I fell to the ground all over my body, and suddenly I fell in pain. Let's try to be down to earth and you'll like it. Cloud Dance said. Also didn't wait for that Pity Juan to say what. Then toward the side of the Red Ling shout Red Ling come over. Restore the original shape, extend your branches, let Pity Juan help. Hongling smell speech, looked at the Pity Juan. Although I feel disappointed, I am still very obedient, and I have evolved a body that has been able to liberalize its size. Suddenly, a giant body appears. And at the same time, that branch immediately toward the bookshelf around, spread out countless branches, horizontal inserted in the open space. Cloud Dance at this time, also pull Pity Juan from the ground. Let him lean on the branch of Hongling. Try walking. It's all your own people. Don't be shy. You won't be ashamed if you fall. Pity Juan's face is not very good, but looking down at his own down to earth, the undercurrent in his eyes flickered. Don't be stunned, try to walk, or you don't know how to walk. Come on, I'll teach you. Cloud Dance said to want to come forward to help him. No. Pity Juan glanced at her angrily, but he still held the wicker in his hand and tried to step forward. See here. Cloud Dance's face smile quietly deepened a few minutes. However, she didn't waste her time. She said to Lan Yu and Bai Shuer. What are you doing? Start looking for it. See, in the Cloud Dance that in the heart of words of fall, blue you and white snow sun. And that also around slip around small stink, all immediately toward the bookshelf around. It's a quick look. Cloud Dance also goes to the bookshelf and looks at the general label on you. On the bookshelf outside, Yunwu saw 3 levels, but here, they are all above 5 levels. Because I don't know much about martial arts, and I really don't know much about Cloud Dance. Which kind of martial arts is considered advanced? Bai Lao, how much do you know about martial arts? When Cloud Dance is scanning the martial arts on the bookshelf, she can't help but ask Bai Lao in the necklace. Bai Lao's voice just came. Girl, it's a pity that I know almost everything about the witches, but I really lack the martial arts now. What's more, I've been sleeping so long. Don't even know Bai Lao? What about Hayo? Just as Cloud Dance's mind fell, the voice of black pride came from my mind. You want to learn advanced martial arts before you even know martial arts. This kind of behavior is too greedy. It's better to learn all kinds of martial arts while there is still time. Hayo, don't you understand? When Yunwu heard it, she asked from the bottom of her heart. And her question immediately led to a silence. Yunwu couldn't help laughing. However, Hayo was right. She didn't really understand her martial arts, so she wanted to find advanced martial arts. She was greedy. So Cloud Dance finally let them stop, let them take advantage of this time, each relax. As for Cloud Dance, I picked up a level 5 martial arts book and started to read it. Originally, Yunwu wanted to have a general understanding. Don't see don't know a look, but can't help but arouse interest. It's a wind-based kick. It seems that it's not a very high level, but it's also an intermediate level. The above detailed records of power and cultivation methods. But then Cloud Dance found a more strange thing, that is. She just looked at the book from the beginning to the end, and a group of figures quickly emerged in her mind. It was recorded in the book that he quickly practiced a whole set of martial arts skills. With the practice of the figure in her mind, her body also seems to be spontaneous. One by one, She repeats the actions of the group of figures in her mind with extremely fast movements. The wind roared with a fierce attack, spread in the open. After a set of martial arts training, Yunwoo's eyes suddenly brightened, and his heart was quietly excited. She has completely recorded the whole set of martial arts skills. Even if she replaced the wind attribute with the wind element, her power increased a lot. It's so strange. What's going on? Is it because she has a tornado? Or Chaos Palace? But whatever the reason, it's a treasure for her to have such a strange speed recording ability now. So she should read the martial arts here. That's the idea. Cloud Dance also took advantage of the surging mood of the moment. Immediately from the position where she stood, a direct brush up. At first, after reading 1 or 2 books, she stopped and let her body use the memory in her mind to refine it directly, so that her body can also have an instinctive memory of that martial art. But more to the back, she found her memory more and more pure practice, almost all the way to see the body and brain connected into a line. The mind is remembering, the body is also remembering that move. See that empty place, Cloud Dance on that body, with strange fast action. A move in one form of rapid comparison. The books on the bookshelf, one by one, are drawn out, read and practiced. Liana Huan, who was still supporting the branches, was walking step by step, and was not used to walking down to earth. She had already stopped and looked at her when Yunwoo was making a strong breath of martial arts. It's not that special. However, when I saw the back, the Cloud Dance was practicing these martial arts at a speed almost like a storm. He was surprised. Is she human or not? He has been in this college for many years. He has seen many talents, almost countless. However, he has never seen a girl like this. Lan Yu by Schwer looking at the Cloud Dance. The selflessness is rapidly consuming those martial arts skills. They can't help but be surprised. They are contracted, but they still have the same self-conscious thinking as before, and they will be surprised. However, compared with their adult surprise or something, that little stink is much more lovable than them. Looking at Cloud Dance that wields martial arts so fiercely, it is also very excited, with her also ran to the side, quickly waving its little fat claw, little fat leg. Of course its fat and lovely speed. Learning out can only be called funny, no Cloud Dance that sharp prestige. But little Stink himself has a good time. Hongling, who can only be a wicker and can't move, is extremely unhappy. The extra wicker is not willing to lag behind. It's beside the little Stink, and it's also dancing wildly. To be honest, this combination is a bit funny. But at this time that pity Huan's eyes, but are locked in the Cloud Dance that is still going on. One night, it's just a blink of an eye. Really, when Yunwoo just finished reading the martial arts in this row and stopped, the night passed like this. On one side, Liana Huan was already sitting in the air, staring at her like a sleepy face. It's already daybreak. Your token will be invalid in the daytime. Go out now. The Cloud dances and hears the speech. Some are surprised. One night passes like this. However, hearing him say that this is the token at night, when it fails during the day, Yunwoo suddenly has an impulse to pull down the white beard of the pharmacist elder. That dead old man, just give her the entrance. It turns out that this token is only valid at night and invalid during the day. No wonder he asked her to sneak in at night. There was something wrong with the token. He is deceiving her. New people don't understand. Of course, although Yunwoo had some complaints in his heart, he still looked up and said, "I'll come back tonight. You remember to open the door for me. In the evening, I'll bring you something interesting." Say Cloud Dance also heart read a move. Take back the blue you they contract ring. Also didn't wait for that pity Huan to make what reaction. Quickly turned to leave. Come back in the evening? Pity Huan brow frown up. The line of sight can't help but look at the eyes. That corner a lot of books were thrown disorderly. Girl dormitory door. Early in the morning, Ling Feng, unintentional, Xiao Zhu, 3 boys stood at the gate. According to what Yunwoo said last night, none of them went to the morning class, so they waited for her at the door of the dormitory. However, they have been standing for a long time, not only did not see the clouds dancing down, but attracted the female students in and out. casting strange eyes at the three people. That young Swimi, you can't oversleep. After last night, this little Zhu's attitude towards Cloud Dance was more or less respectful. That's the strength level, even if she is younger than him. That's a real strong one. The strong must be respected. Ling Feng and Wu Xian keep silent about Xiao Zhu's words, because they don't know. However, just as they continued to brazenly ignore the sight around them and wait, they finally saw the Cloud dancing back from another path holding a plate. Sorry to have kept you waiting. Just before Yunwu left, he handed the plate to the three of them. When I got up, I didn't see you, so I went to have breakfast by the way. You haven't eaten yet. I've made some breakfast for you. Let's eat it. I don't think we need to come back to eat it at noon. In fact, she came out of Zhongwu Pavilion and went by the way to the canteen. Ling Feng and Xiaozhu are stunned when they see 3 pieces of meat on the plate. It's all high-grade steak, but you need to deduct nearly 10 points to get 1. Where did she get it? For 3, that's close to 30 minutes. She is a freshman. How can she have it? However, inadvertently looking at Cloud Dance, it seems to think of last night with her gambling area. Also lazy smile Yang Yang. Immediately, I was not polite. I grabbed a piece of meat and ate it directly. When Ling Feng and Zhu saw this, they wanted to ask, but at this time they saw that they didn't mean to be polite. If they said anything, they thought it would be more hypocritical. So they took their share and ate it. The high-grade animal meat, after being cooked with medicated food, can't help but brighten their eyes with the feeling of energy spread in their stomach. It turns out that high-grade animal meat is so much better than those low-grade meat. C3 people are full. Cloud Dance just way. Go. Where to? Training tower. Cloud Dance said. What training tower? These 3 words seemed to make 3 people alone. Ling Feng couldn't help saying. It's morning, and generally no one will go to practice the tower. What are we going to do there? Yunwu looked at them with a faint smile. Go to the cultivation tower and practice naturally, otherwise you can have a picnic. Cloud Dance, rarely in a good mood to make a little joke, but obviously, did not cause a laugh. To practice in the training tower is naturally what people in the whole college think. However, although the college does not set a certain time when to enter the tower to practice, for hundreds of years, all the students in the college have found out a rule. The best time to practice is in the afternoon. Because in the morning and evening, the aura in the tower will become very weak, and only in the afternoon until the evening, the aura is the strongest time. For those who need to spend a huge amount of points to enter the tower for cultivation, the students will naturally choose to enter the tower for cultivation at the strongest time. Therefore, the college also arranges students to have classes in the morning, and arrange their own time in the afternoon and evening when they are not out of school for training or performing any tasks. Just Cloud Dance now early in the morning said to cultivate the tower, what in the end to do. But in the end, they followed her to the direction of the training tower. The training tower is located in the most eccentric corner of the college. After careful observation, we can find that the location of this training tower is not really remote. It happens to be the center of the 4th ring of the Educational Administration Building, Classroom Building, Canteen and Zhongwu Pavilion. So it can be seen that this training tower is probably the most important existence in the whole inner college, right? When Yunwu 4 came to the training tower, they were not surprised to see half a figure on the spacious square. However, Yunwu did not see any tower. I can only see that there is a black hole-like entrance between the cliffs. And outside the entrance of the black hole, there are grooves in a row. Isn't that the entrance to the black hole, the training tower? Yunwu originally thought that the training tower should be at least like a high tower, but it seems that it is just a black hole. Cloud Dance, you don't really want to study the tower now, do you? It's said that the aura in the tower is very weak in the morning, but the points that can be deducted still start at least 10 o'clock. Ling Feng looks at Cloud Dance, that line of sight, can't help saying. Although I don't know where she got her share, I can't waste it like this. However, before he finished his words, Yunwu lifted his hand, and the 3 people's token flew directly to her hand. Without waiting for the 3 to speak, she had already walked towards the grooves. 4 tokens are put in. Give 3 tokens, each passing 2,000 minutes. Cloud Dance said. And see, Cloud Dance, that words fall. the 3 tokens in the groove seemed to pass a light. Then the mechanical sound came from the void. 9,807 points, 2,000 for each of the 3 tokens, 6,000 deducted, and 3,807 points remaining. After the successful adoption, Yunwu took out the token and threw it back to the 3 stupid men behind him. 2,000 minutes. Did they hear right? Even if it was unintentional, it seemed to be a little stunned, staring at Yunwu. What on earth did she do in the gambling area last night? It seems that she has come to the intermediate challenge area without an hour. How can she get so many points from the gambling area in such a short time? 9,000. That in the college can be absolutely a huge rich. But she changed hands, but gave them 2,000. Is she stupid? Or was he kicked in the head by the stove? Even Ling Feng is also that silly lung. Looking at the token in hand, there is a kind of hot potato-like feeling. However, among the 3 people, Xiao Zhu is the most shocking and stupid one. 2,000 for him. If she is to Ling Feng and unintentional, both of them are reasonable. But he, a stranger who just met last night, is almost a stranger. But she gives him 2,000 points, which seems to be unreasonable. However, for their silly eyes, Yunwu didn't feel much. Anyway, those points are just data records in her eyes. The place that can be used is in the inner college. She won't stay in the inner college too long. If she finds what she wants, she will leave naturally. So too much doesn't work for her. And these 3 people, perhaps, are the only people who feel comfortable and friends on the day she came in. Share with them, don't feel bad. Don't be stunned. Learn to refine the tower. Cloud Dance glanced at Ling Feng. 3 people, said with a smile, then first stepped toward the entrance. When you get to the entrance, you obviously feel an isolation. Cloud Dance also swept the token. The isolation immediately disappeared from her. And there was a hole that only she could enter. When the Cloud Dance enters, the opening will merge automatically. And the aura that diffused from the entrance of the cave, but just as she entered the isolation entrance, the whole breath was surrounded by the aura. When Yunwu felt it, she couldn't help raising her eyebrows. Because the consistency of aura here is almost the same as that she felt at the entrance of the college just before she entered the college. But at this time, this aura is inexplicably full of a familiar feeling. In the end is familiar with where Cloud Dance for a while also cannot say. But outside Ling Feng, unintentionally, Xiaozhu 3 people see Cloud Dance all went in. 3 people looked at the token in hand. In the end or heart fever, finally did not resist to follow in. This is just the entrance. Now that we have come in, don't waste time. Go to the first floor to practice first. As soon as he entered the isolation, the thick aura came, which made Ling Feng feel anxious. After entering the tower, the system will automatically calculate the time. It starts at 10 o'clock. When you come in, you have to race against the clock and find a place to practice. Otherwise, you will feel sorry for it. How many floors is this training tower divided into? Yunwu asked as she walked in. Xiaozhu felt the aura around him. At this time, his eyes were also excited and flashing, but he still did not forget to answer. I heard that there are 7 layers, but every next layer, the deducted points will be double deducted. So generally junior and middle school students only practice in the 1st and 2nd floor, while senior students only go down to the 5th floor at most, and few can go down to the 6th floor. Yes, the lower you go, the more points you get deducted. When you get to the 6th floor, many people don't have time to practice, so the points are almost deducted. Ling Feng also said. However, Yunwu raised eyebrows. So no one has been down to the 7th floor? No, the treasure map of the Calling Temple is hidden on the 7th floor, isn't it? Think of here. Cloud Dance eye undercurrent flashed. Ling Feng shook his head. No, I've heard that someone has gone down, but there is no aura in the 7th level. It's the same as outside. The points that can be deducted are several times more. Entering the cultivation tower is for cultivation. Without aura cultivation, points are deducted several times. It's a real pain. Generally, people who have been there once will never take another step. And when the news got around, no one was stupid enough to go back. Is it? The Cloud Dances, but the eye ground is dark to flash for a while. Inadvertently looked at her one eye, as if just saw the flash of the undercurrent under her eyes. Do you want to go? Cloud Dance looked up at him, and outlined his mouth. I'm curious, but Ling Feng is right. Don't waste it when you come in, and then practice in your own place. Take advantage of these 3 months to practice well, and strive for promotion in the promotion contest 3 months later. 3 months. She didn't mean that she wanted them to practice in this training tower for 3 months. However, hearing her say that, it makes people feel excited. Yes, the promotion contest in 3 months' time. Even those students who are training outside will come back to the college to participate in the promotion contest once every 6 months. It was an important event for the inner college. Just, the Ling breeze of one side here's speech. The eye bottom however flashed a touch of gloomy. The same expectation, can be accompanied by loss. Although he is still in the inner college, that false accusation is just like the existence of a stain. Every year in the promotion contest, he was stripped of his qualification for that reason. Little Zhu Ben wanted to say something excitedly, but he was silent when he thought of Ling Feng. Unintentionally, it seems that he is always lazy. From his eyes he can't see the emotional fluctuation. However, he seems to have a little concern about Ling Feng. Peace of mind, with her in, she will let you have a way to participate in the competition in 3 months. Unintentionally, that's what I said. That words, but let small Zhu follow Ling Feng all alone. Cloud Dance? However, hearing what he said, Ling Feng didn't feel happy. Instead he frowned. I'll do something for myself. At this moment, colleges are in competition. As he said before, no one owes anyone. She doesn't owe him. What's more, she did so much for him last night, and now she gives him 2,000 points. Why does he feel that he can trouble her, or even drag her down? However, Yunwu began at this time. What he said is true. I have a way to let you participate in the competition. However, the premise is that your own strength must be qualified. Besides, as the monitor of Cloud Dance, there is no reason to bear the stigma of being framed. So, I will prove it in front of all the teachers and students of the school, and prove that you are framed. Cloud Dance said, suddenly reached out and patted Ling Feng's shoulder, and said, I hope you don't disappoint me, monitor. Then Yunwu glanced at Xiaozhu and said, You can find your own place to practice. I'll find my own place. Don't follow me. As soon as the words fell, Cloud Dance turned its toes and went straight to the depth of the cave. The 3 people who were still standing at the entrance of the first floor couldn't help looking at her back. Monitor? Ling Feng looked at her back, and felt that she had just patted her shoulder. The originally gloomy bottom of my heart seemed to have a kind of rising blood and inexplicable palpitations. When Ling Feng took back his sight, he began to burn in the depth of his eyes. I've found a place to practice myself. With that, he also went deep, ready to go to the 2nd or 3rd floor. 2,000 minutes is good enough. I have been practicing in 2 or 3 levels for most of the month. However, he also made up his mind that he would start at 2,000 points, and then he would strive to earn points and improve his strength. After 3 months, he will not let her down. Xiaozhu and Ling Feng are relieved when they look at Ling Feng. Finally, they find their own places to practice. But the Cloud Dance in the deep cave started to walk down from the 1st floor following the dim light. Every next level, the token will automatically flash a light, and the sound of deducting points will ring. When we get to the 6th floor, we will have deducted 500 points. For the students in the college, even for the senior students, it is absolutely not a decimal. However, the aura of heaven and earth in the 6th layer was so strong that it almost surprised the Cloud Dance. It's no wonder that one afternoon in the cultivation tower is enough for others to practice outside for 10 days. According to this kind of thick aura, I'm afraid it's not enough. When entering the 5th floor, the Cloud Dance directly runs the Dantian, with a dual purpose of looking for the intersection and absorbing the aura around. Come to the 6th layer. Because it is too thick aura, the running speed of elixir field is obviously slower, but it can be absorbed more pure. It's just that when Yunwu feels strange. In such a powerful aura space, there was no movement in the chaos hall in her consciousness. Did it absorb the aura of heaven and earth and the cold ice jade in the cave in the southern forest and reach saturation for the time being? That's why I didn't respond to the aura around here? Or is there another reason? Of course, Yunwu's conjecture can't be answered for the time being. The space of the 6th floor is much smaller than that of the 5th floor, which is about 100 square meters. You can see the entrance of the 7th floor deep into the corner at a glance. Yunwu didn't slow down, so he walked towards the entrance. The 7th floor, need to deduct 1,000 points, whether to enter or not. Yunwu didn't even get to the entrance before the mechanical sound came. 1,000? This point, however, is 2 times more than the points from the previous layers. However, the local tyrant is used to doing cloud dance without frowning. Come in. Enter the 7th floor, deduct 1,000 points, and there are 22,007 points left. The sound of the machine falls, and the transparent isolation entrance of the 7th floor opens. 7th floor. As soon as the cloud dance steps down the 7th floor, the original thick and amazing aura suddenly disappeared. Empty. Yes, at the moment of entering this space, it seems that a feeling came from the bottom of my heart, that is emptiness. From the bottom of my heart to achieve an unlimited sense of emptiness. Very uncomfortable. Cloud dance can't help but frown, however, the pace didn't stop, just along the stairs step by step down. When I finally stepped down the stairs and stood in the open position of the 7th floor, the strange emptiness in my heart became more and more intense. It's still an open space around, and then there are grooved platforms on the walls all around. If you guess correctly, it should be for the students to sit in the training. However, I'm afraid few students have come to the 7th floor, because there is a lot of dust on the platform of the groove around the space, as if it had accumulated for hundreds of years. However, a space that is so closed and deep into 7 floors can also have dust? The cloud dances the eye to sweep all around, mental strength, but at the same time of toward all around sweep past. Little girl, you should be a freshman. How did you get in here? Just as Yunwu's mental power was being explored in detail, an unusually old voice came from behind. The sudden sound really scared the clouds. It was almost a subconscious turn of the head, but when Yunwu saw the old man with gray robe and gray hair, Lu Mei couldn't help wrinkling. What a quiet breath. Almost can't feel any breath fluctuation from him. No wonder just now she didn't feel anyone close to the breath. It's just, who is he? Is it the elder of the college again? After looking at the old man for a few eyes, Yunwu quietly gathered his mental strength and said politely, "Yes, I'm a freshman." And the old man, when Yunwu turned around, his wise eyes suddenly flashed an undercurrent. He stared at her for a long time, as if he was looking at something. Yunwu was staring at by his inexplicable sight, and his whole body was unnatural. Just when Yunwu frowned, the old man said again, "Freshmen can have the number of minutes to enter the 7th floor. It's very good. Girl, what's your name?" Yunwu looked at him and said, "Yunwu. Cloud dance." Smell speech. That old man seems to meditate for a while, then lift up that pair of wise eyes to stare at her. "Originally you are this year royal escort in, that waste-miss of Cloud family." He knows her? Cloud dance can't help but pick an eyebrow. Naturally, she can't really think that a royal escort quota is enough to make these tough old men miss her name so much. It is estimated that it is because of the foreign college. Yes, do you have any orders from the elder? The breath of this old man is more unpredictable and quiet than that of the 5 elders. I really don't know how many old monsters there are in this inner college. It's no wonder that this academy will become a fine place for all the young people of the Zhou dynasty to enter. However, seeing these old men, Yunwu had some insight into his heart. At first, I thought that all the great martial arts masters were the best among the experts, and the whole imperial city could count 10 fingers. But now, it is estimated that the Real masters choose to hibernate in the dark. The old man looked at the cloud dance, which was very polite. There was a kind smile on his 80 or 90-year-old face, and his old voice came. The girl really praises the old man. I'm not the elder in the college. I'm just the old man who takes care of the training tower. Because for a long time, no student has been in the training tower in the morning. I'm curious who came so early, so I'll come and have a look. Old man Sata? Is it possible? This kind of strength. How can it be the old man who sweeps the tower? Seems to see Cloud dance. Don't believe. That old man is also very straightforward like Smiley. Girl is not believe? However, many people don't believe me when they see the old man, but they believe me after a long time together. Well, old man, I won't disturb your cultivation, so I'll go out first. Then the old man turned away with a smile. At this time, the old man just walked to the stairs, as if suddenly remembered something. He turned his head and looked at Yunwu and said, I forgot to introduce myself to you. People call me Old Tower. You can call me Old Tower later. I'm usually outside the tower. If you have anything to do, you can come to me. In those days, I still owe you a favor from Yun family. With that, the old pagoda didn't seem to be ready to stay, so he turned and left. However, Cloud Dance can't help raising eyebrows. Oh, a favor to the Cloud family? The old man looks like he is 80 or 90 years old on the surface, but he is estimated to be at least 100 years old or even older. What can he owe to the Cloud family? Even if it's human, it's from the previous generation. When he told her this time, he wanted to ask her to please him. However, it was obvious that the old man turned away, but he was not ready to say it. After half a ring, Cloud Dance converged the mental strength, but the brow was quiet. Because of the sudden appearance of the old tower, the detection before Cloud Dance was interrupted, but now it is obvious that there is no discovery. But Yunwu found that the emptiness in this space disappeared at some time. I don't think so. What did the old man just do? While the clouds were dancing and meditating, a mechanical sound came from the sky. An hour has arrived. 500 points will be deducted. What? An hour has passed? Cloud Dance can't help but eyebrow a see you. How does she feel just come in 10 minutes or so? How does this just a moment pass? Looking at another light on the token, Yunwu tightened his brow and became confused. Does time in this place pass faster than outside? However, Cloud Dance, unable to detect anything, chose to leave for the time being and wait for another time tomorrow. She was sure that the old man had just done something. However, in which grade did Yunwu leave? Is she a freshman? She just it's from the 6th floor. She's on the 6th floor? Damn, the 6th floor needs to be deducted by almost 5 percentage points. How can such a freshman, isn't it? Is she the girl last night? This idea almost instantaneously flashed through the minds of the students present, adding a trace of surprise to the stunned eyes. Teenage first graders toppling third graders? Is it possible? This proportion seems to be too exaggerated. However, one by one, they watched her come up from the 6th floor. If she had won the entire junior division last night, it would not have been surprising that she had entered the 6th tier. After Yunwu walked up the 5th floor, he just glanced at those people, then took back his sight and walked towards the 4th floor stairs. As for what they just discussed, she didn't feel much. However, they listened attentively to what they said about Wang Xian. When I left the 5th floor and went up to the 4th floor, I was almost the same as the 5th floor and attracted the eyes of the 4th floor students. Level 3, Level 2. When we got to the 2nd floor, the whole spacious space was almost full of people, and the dense people didn't pay attention to anything, so they just sat on the ground and entered the breathing. Few people paid attention to her. However, just as Yunwu is ready to leave on the 1st floor, he accidentally catches Ling Feng and Xiao Zhu in the corner of his eye. They seem to know that there are many people, and they have chosen the platform with grooves on the wall for a long time. Just a person of position, instead of competing with others. Just Cloud Dance swept a circle, did not see the trace of that unintentional. What about others? After sweeping a circle, there was no shadow, so Yunwu didn't look for it too much. After leaving the 2nd floor, returned to the 1st floor. However, when I saw the people who were more dense than the 2nd layer, I was really ashamed. It took almost half a column of incense time for her to get out of the crowd. Girl, why did you come out so early? In the afternoon, inside the tower is the most suitable time for cultivation. As soon as Yunwu got out of the hole of the training tower, an old voice came from his ear. Following the voice, You can see the old pagoda in gray robes sitting on the stool at the entrance of the cave. I have something to do. Cloud Dance looked at the old tower and nodded politely. Although I don't know the details of the old man, his strength is enough for her to form a polite respect for him. What's the matter? He said with a kind smile. Can I help you? Yunwu looked at him for a long time, then shook his head slightly. It's just a little thing. It won't bother the old tower. I'll do it first. With that, Yunwu nodded politely and turned away. Looking at her leaving back, the smile on the old pagoda's face deepened a bit. However, in her wise eyes it was still the enigmatic. Little girl, the vigilance is so high. On the way to the entrance of the training tower, you will see many students coming towards the whole training tower. Yunwu, on the contrary, went towards the entrance of the college. After walking out of the college gate, Yunwu thought that she could feel the abundant aura, but found that the aura of yesterday morning had disappeared. Strange. How can the thick aura disappear in one day? Yunwu had a trace of doubt in his heart, but he didn't delay much at the door. As soon as his figure flashed, he went out to the forest. The elder pharmacist had taught her how to enter the array that day. Although it was late last night, she paid special attention to his step when he came out. After she got out of the woods, it took Yunwu about half a column of incense time, and finally came to the medicine garden. Boundless flower garden. The air is still that Chinran heart of flowers, sunny weather. No one was seen. Elder pharmacist? Is it there or not? It's like a loud call coming out of the air. After half a ring, it seems that the stone is sinking into the sea, but the elder pharmacist is still missing. Cloud Dance glanced at the big medicinal flower in front of her eyes, and was thinking about whether to dig it now and throw it into Chaos Hall. You girl, you dare to leave the college without permission from the elder of the college. You are looking for death. A thick voice came from far and near. Immediately, the elder pharmacist with black hair and white beard came quickly. You are not the elder of the academy. We should not sin to death. Cloud Dance looks at that pharmacist elder cool-mouthed to say. Hearing her tone, the elder pharmacist seemed to feel guilty. Probably guessed that Yunwu may have found the restriction of the token he gave her last night. However, the elder must be like an elder. He can't be counseled in front of his students. So in the case of a little guilty, fortunately, he cleared his throat and asked in a coarse voice, Come on, what do you want to do this time? She can't steal his steps, just to see him. There must be something wrong. Cloud Dance didn't even take out the token from his pocket and threw it away. Nothing, just want to give it back to you. Give it back to him? The pharmacist elder was stunned, and then he looked at Yunwu with a tiny squint. Do you want to cancel the transaction between us? There's no way to cancel the deal. Cloud Dance and Light Path. Smell speech. The pharmacist elder breathed a sigh of relief. However, his tone was not completely relaxed, but Yunwu's cool voice said again. You give me a token which is limited and can only be used at night. Then, I'll get you a half-eye to lift the ban, so the transaction will be fair. What? Half an eye lifted? On hearing that, the elder pharmacist brushed the black line down his forehead. You girl, you really don't know what's good and what's bad. Do you know that it's unprecedented to let your freshmen enter the Kangwoo Pavilion? It took a lot of energy to get such a token. And you still forget it, say it. Then what do you want to do? Looking at Yunwu's expression, the elder pharmacist was a little angry, but he still compromised first. Just look at the girl's temper. He's worried that when the time comes, he'll get him half an eye to lift the ban. The elder also knows that in the college, transactions need to be fair. Since this token is limited to little use, you can give me another kind of compensation. What is useless? Even if the token is limited to the night, it's also very precious. But when it comes to her mouth, it's all changed. The elder pharmacist stared at her, frowning like a caterpillar. Half-ring, just hear his mouth. What compensation? The shortcut to inner college. However, Yunwu's words made the pharmacist elder's face sink in an instant. How to get in and out. Did he hear right? This time, the pharmacist elder didn't have the good expression he just had. His whole face was so cold that it was terrible. His eyes were fixed on Yunwu, as if he were looking at some outlaw. And Cloud Dance, for this reaction of pharmacist elder, it seems no accident. This is because the inner college not only defends itself with array, but also sets up a lot of isolation circles. Under such a tight situation, I certainly don't want people to know how to enter the inner college easily. In other words, the inner college wants to protect something closely. That's why, when Cloud Dance just appeared, the Pharmacist Presbyterian Council cheered her and left the college without the Presbyterians' permission. If Yunwu's estimation is correct, I'm afraid most of the students in the college don't know how to leave the college without a tutor. However, Yunwu believes that there must be a shortcut to get in and out of the inner college. Of course, only the elders who know this shortcut will know. Cloud Dance put forward this time, but also more or less expected the reaction of the Presbyterian Council. What did you say? Say it again. The pharmacist elder stares at Yunwu, and his eyes are solemn and cold. Cloud Dance looked at the pharmacist elder and sighed. Elder doesn't have to be so nervous. Can you listen to me first for such reasons? The pharmacist elder's face is still not very good looking, and his majesty stares at her. Yunwu consciously explained to himself, when my father sent me to the college, he asked me to go to his old military home in the south to do something for him. But as soon as I entered the college, I happened to run into the quota contest of the college. But I had to take part in the contest first. Unexpectedly, I didn't know until I entered the college. It was less than 3 years and 5 years it's not without the college. So I'll ask you that. If it's not convenient for the elder to say a shortcut, just give me a token to pass into the college. I'll come back when I finish my work. When Yunwu said this, he really took out a token from his arms and handed it up. And that token is exactly the military amulet that Yunlingyi gave her at the beginning. The pharmacist elder took it and looked at the token in his hand. Are you from General Yun's mansion? The unique military symbol of the Yunjia army above is a sign of identity. Yunwu nodded. Yes. I'm the 9th oldest in my family. It should be in the college records. In fact, as far as the pharmacist is outside, he probably doesn't have the heart to understand her background. It's not surprising. Then what does your father want you to do? Pharmacist elder stares at Cloud Dance to ask away. I can't wait to heal his deputy. Yunwu met him and said it seriously. Of course the reason is made up. However, after hearing the words, the elder pharmacist narrowed his eyes and stared at Yunwu. Does your father want you to heal his deputy? How can this sentence be so awkward? Well, I happen to know something about medicine. Just you little girl, what else do you know about medicine? The pharmacist elder's eyes flashed with disbelief. The Cloud dances to smell speech, but the corner of the mouth suddenly outlines. If the elder doesn't believe it, then I will show it for the elder. However, before she had finished her words, a few little chills had passed by. Very fast. Almost didn't give that pharmacist elder reaction to come over of at present. The silver needle already toward elder body of several big acupoints but go. A slight pain in the arm made the elder pharmacist frown. But soon, a sense of surprise flashed through the eyes. Maybe, a few needles can't be seen by others. However, for pharmacists who understand pharmacology and some medical techniques, they know very well what the definition of the acupuncture technique is. This girl, at a young age, not only knows the art of heart control, but also knows the art of silver needle therapy? When the elder pharmacist was a little stunned, the Cloud dance hand brushed, and the suction immediately took back the silver needle on the elder pharmacist. I haven't been in good health since I was a child, so I learned all kinds of medical skills from my master, and I've achieved a lot in the past 10 years. My father hopes to take a look at his deputy, who is so sick that even military doctors can't do anything about it. Originally, I should have gone there a few days ago, but I took part in the election contest, which delayed me a few days. If the pharmacist elder is still not at ease, or you will go to foreign college with me, my father should still be in Lingcheng. At the beginning, he said that he would wait for me in Lingcheng for a few days. Why is it that you are not red and breathless when talking about lies? Just look at the specimen of Yunwu. The pharmacist elder looked at Yunwu and listened to her words, so he believed it more or less. It's just that the fact of getting her out of college. Why don't you come with me, elder? I heard that the small village on the southern border is not far from here. If there are flying beasts, it won't take much time. Cloud Dance suddenly suggested. The elder pharmacist was silent. Finally, he nodded. If you give her a token to go out because of her words, you can't, but it's feasible to go with her. Girl, after going with you, you can't talk to me about the token again. Before leaving, the pharmacist elder did not forget to remind him. After Yunwu took the token back from him, he grinned and nodded. Don't worry, don't mention it. When you get all the medicinal materials, I will relieve it for you immediately. Hearing that, the elder pharmacist was relieved. The lion-carving beast, under the control of the elder, comes from the white cloud with a whistle. After Yunwu and the elder pharmacist jumped behind the carving beast, they quickly flew away. However, this time instead of going down to the outer college, he went directly to the south. When he flew out of a certain distance, the carving beast fell rapidly, landing in a forest. Is that even out? Yunwu looks at the forest and seems to feel that it is still within the scope of the inner college. But the pharmacist elder glanced at her and said in a thick voice, "Where is the inner college so easy to get in and out, you girl? Just follow me. What are you doing?" The Cloud Dance hears the speech, naturally also shut up. However, from the beginning to the end, she has been paying attention to his pace, behavior, and even any small changes. After landing, they walked instead. Through a row of woods, we finally saw the main road. Girl, where is your father's army in the southern border town? After walking out of the forest, the elder pharmacist asked the Cloud Dance. I'm not sure. When we get to the border city, it should be easy to find it. In fact, where do you know, Cloud Dance? That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.